with some guns, boy.
Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy Devon back in the building. I know it's been a hot minute. For all the people that have come by to make sure that you hit the like button and join the conversation, I appreciate you immensely, man. I think it's been a solid 3 weeks, maybe a month since I've been on the mic. Um, yeah, man, your boy's been busy. Very, very, very busy. And also some politics up here on YouTube. I decided to just step away for a little bit. But nonetheless, man, I mean, how can I not come on here and leave a prediction about this fight? And, I took a lot of time, really debating. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Maybe I should just lay back. But then I was like, this fight is history, man, and I gotta make my mark on this fight. And I've been watching a lot of the prediction videos. I've been watching a lot of the debates. I've been paying attention, and I've been listening to what people have been saying. And I've been a part of some of these debates, a year ago, 2 years ago. And guys, it's finally here. You know what I mean? It's finally here. All the talk, all the debate, all the chaos, all of the wild shit that people have said, the respect and also the disrespect. I mean, the list goes on when it comes to the buildup to this fight, and it's actually happening. It's actually happening Saturday night. You know what I mean? And I can't be more excited. And I just finished watching the final press conference and the weigh-in, and I don't think my prediction has changed, but I do have a few things that I started to consider. Let's put it that way. And that's how I'm always predicting fights. You can put a prediction out 3 months in advance. Ideally, that's what you want to do. If you're a content creator, you got to get it out there, which I never dropped a prediction video other than right now. But as time creeps closer to the fight, when you see certain things, the demeanor, the personality, the energy, the way the body looks, the people around the fighter, all these little things, I don't want to say that it makes a huge difference, but I feel like it's relevant. You know what I mean? I really do. There's certain things that I see, that I notice, and I've been predicting these fights, man, on a public forum here on YouTube for the better part of a decade. And sometimes it's just like a mental note in the back of my mind. You know what I mean? But before I get into the prediction, and by the way, if you want to join the debate, you want to join the discussion, the link is up at the top of the chat. Feel free. Make sure you come in, hit that like button, guys. You got to just click the like button just because you haven't seen Divine Sense live in a month. That alone, you should hit the like button. You feel me? So make sure y'all do that, man, because it's like a solar eclipse. I don't come very often nowadays, but when I do, it's special. And for all those people that have been waiting and patient and showing me a lot of love on IG, man, much love, man. A lot of you guys were checking in on me. Your boy's good. You just, he's a busy man. But I appreciate you guys all immensely. Let me go down the list real quick. Shout out to my man Nitty G, first one in the building. Still a devoted member to the channel, even though I'm not as active as I used to be, man. Much love, bro. We got Dub right side in the building. What's up, Dub? I've seen you in a lot of debates lately, man. I've seen you out there doing that work. A lot of heavy lifting out there by my boy Dub. Much love. We got Razor in the building. What's up, Razor? Black Sports TV. What's good with you? I haven't seen you in a while. Mangus Allen, of course, he's in here. Patrick Pena, what's up, bro? Kaz in the building. No doubt. I can't believe, there's a part of me that can't believe the fight's happening either, man. But it's here. It's here. It's like, once you see the weigh-in, it's like, all right, there's no turning back now. No turning back. And New, what's good with you? Brad, what's good? Did you see Plant hit Charlo? Yeah, I saw that circulating on IG. I saw that shit. I don't know what happened, but I did see it. I have a suspicion, or I've heard rumors, that his wife was disrespected. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard. Gnarly Ray, what's good with you? Platboy plays in the building. If you want to join the conversation, Platboy, the link is up at the top. Mac of the South, what's good with you? I know my man Mac of the South, he's excited for this shit. Charles Gringer in the building, Hoop Sessions. Yeah. Dip Levine, what's good with you? Yes, sir. Dropping in those sharks. That's right. That's right. So look, man, I'm going to start cooking. You feel me? I'm going to start cooking because I don't plan to be live too long. Those who slid through. Hear this shit live. Other than that, it'll be dropped on the channel. And as I'm talking and as people continue to filter in here, I see the poll moving. And right now, Spence is overwhelmingly the favorite. Where are my Bud fans at? Where the Bud fans at? What's going on? Do I got no Bud fans subscribed to the channel? Damn. 46% split down the middle. People saying Spence either by decision or stoppage. Bud at 8%. We're going to see if any Bud supporters come filtering in. Because it looked like Bud had a lot of supporters at the weigh-in. I do say that. It looked like he had a lot of supporters at the weigh-in. But I don't see him on YouTube. I don't see him on YouTube. Don Shada in the building. What's good with you? It's good to be back, bro. It's good to be back, man. I mean, I got to make a prediction about this fight. How can I not, right? How could I not do it? Guys, come in. Hit the like button. Vote in the poll. You know, hey, this is your opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to let people know how you think about this fight. What's up, George? I hope the fight lives up to the hype. Oh, it will. You got no doubt about that, George, bro. I promise you, this fight is going to be lit. I will tell everyone this right here, right now. This fight is going to be lit. Anybody thinking or surmising that this is going to be a lackluster fight where it's going to be like holding and a lot of referee breaks, and how could it not? Like, both of these, I mean, if you think that this fight won't live up to the hype, I'm flabbergasted, because both of these men are action-packed fighters. That's what they do. You know, we're not talking about either one of these guys on the back foot trying to survive and, you know, work behind the jab and be technically sound and try to, you know, just put rounds in the bag. Well, these guys, you know, I mean, I would say Bud is probably more, I guess, the boxer. He does box sometimes. He did that against Porter, right? Spence is, I'm walking to you and I'm trying to hurt you. I'm breaking you down. Doesn't really go backwards very much. I don't think he knows how to go backwards, which is actually very interesting. That's the whole point of why this fight's interesting, because I've seen Bud go backwards. I've seen Bud go backwards. I've seen Bud box. I've seen Bud try to be technical. But Spence don't go backwards. He stands in front of you or he walks forward. Right? Extremely rare for Spence to go backwards. So if you feel like, oh man, I don't know if this fight's going to live up to the hype, bro, how could it not? These two guys, not only are they action-packed fighters, their resumes are full of that, but when they hurt you, they go for the kill. These are not guys that, you know, they don't smell blood. I mean, this is how they've built their career, is they smell blood and they finish fighters. Bro, I promise you, this fight's going to be lit. Way, way more lit, I think, than a lot of people are expecting. And I say that because I've seen a lot of people on YouTube talking about Spence is going to knock out Crawford early. Crawford ain't shit. Spence is going to take care of him. You know, Crawford is hyped up, this, that, and whatever. Bro, I'm telling you, this fight is going to be reminiscent of Hagler-Hearns. Except I don't see it ending as quickly as that fight ended. But I feel it's going to be that type of energy. It's going to be that type of hype. You know what I mean? And don't be surprised if one guy at the bell just jumps on the other guy. No feeling out process. Just takes it. Takes it to him. That's what Hearns did to Hagler. And Hagler, what you can see if you go back and watch that fight, Hagler was like, whoa. He didn't expect that. You know, it took him a round or two to get adjusted because Hearns came at him. Hearns was like, I'm gonna try to knock this dude out quick. I ain't trying to be in a long fight. I ain't trying to stand here toe to toe with the middleweight champ. I'm gonna try to knock him out quick. Don't be surprised if that happens Saturday night. If one of the fighters, I don't know who, one of them comes out hot and just tries to knock the other dude out. You know, and the thing is that I think the difference between Hearns and Hagler and this fight is that one of the fighters might do that, and I slightly lean towards Bud to do that. And I feel that Bud will come out aggressive. And either it'll work or it won't work. But if it doesn't work, I think Bud will take it down a couple notches. I don't think he'll burn himself out. I think he's smarter than what people give him credit for. I don't think he'll just continue, you know what I mean, to go pedal to the metal, similar to what Hearns did. Hearns just came out the first round, then he came out the second round, and he's just fire, until he got clipped. But look, this type of fight has that type of energy, I promise you. King of the Dead in the building. What's good with you? PGH Big Dog in the building. Appreciate you guys dropping by. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Let the people know you're in here. Let the people know we're live. That's how we tweak the algorithm. A lot of people don't get notifications. So we got to do our part. We finally getting some Bud people in here. We got a couple people saying Bud by decision or Bud by stoppage. Let's see if they continue to filter in. But yeah, and before I do that, let me go ahead, for those who have missed it or just for the sake of this conversation. Let's yeah. Just in case you missed it, or just to continue to hype of this fight, here's the weigh-in for those who may have missed it. Anthony Thompson in the building. What's good with you, bro? I appreciate you. It's good to be back, man. I mean, I had to drop a prediction on this fight. How could I not? Yeah. So as we see this in the background, I mean, Bud was hype. Bud was hype. He out here rapping and shit. Hey, and let me talk about Bomac just for a second, man. Let me give my thoughts, because everybody's got their little slice of the pie, especially talking about the final press conference. I heard a lot of people talking about how the energy of Bomac and Terence Crawford seemed a little bit off. So let me speak about that real quick. Let me start with the final press conference. I'll talk about the weigh-in, and then I'll lead in to the final prediction. I know. I keep you guys hanging. Don't worry. The prediction's coming. So the final press conference, right? And let me say this real quick. The whole build-up to this fight, all the press conferences, all the media tours, the interviews with the media, I think for the most part, they've both been pretty reserved. Pretty calm. There's been a lot of respect. Neither one of them not really engaging any trash talk or anything like that. I mean, a little jabs here and there, but it's been pretty respectful. And I've heard a few YouTubers out here, I ain't gonna mention no names, they seem to get upset about that. Like, man, why don't Spence talk shit? Why don't Bud talk shit? Why don't they talk shit? Why don't they get this shit hype? Because first off, Spence in particular, I mean, when was the last time you heard him get hype? He's always mad, chill, and relaxed and focused, and he's just like a super laid back dude. Right? Now, Bud has been known to say some jabs here and there in different fights. And you can argue even in this fight, he's thrown more jabs than Spence. But the main thing is these two guys are at the top of the sport. At the end of the day, these two men earned this fight. And I think that's what Spence told Bud right here when they step up to each other to do the face-off. Something along the lines of like, look, man, at the end of the day, we both earned this shit. And tomorrow night, we're going to find out who's the best. We've waited our whole career for this moment. And I think that's why they shook the hands. And it was like, it's just mutual respect between two champions. One being the welterweight king. And the other, being a pound for pound best fighter. Trying to be the first boxer ever, male boxer ever, to be undisputed in two different weight classes. That's some major shit right there, people. If y'all sleeping on that, it's time to wake up. That is some major historical shit right there if Bud can pull this off. Undisputed in 2 different weight classes, y'all. That shit's crazy. But he's got a big train to go through in Errol Spence. That is a big wall to climb over right there. You see Spence says something to Bud. I think it's just like, look, man, we here now. So for me, I'm not mad at it. I know a lot of people, they like the shit talk, they like the hype, they like, fights and shit like that. This ain't the UFC. No disrespect, but this ain't the UFC. This is boxing, man. It's a gentleman's sport. The best fighting the best. We shake hands. Let the best man win. So just real quickly, we got Platt Boys in here. I'll let him chop it up here in a moment. But let me speak real quickly about the press conference, the final press conference. That was a big talking point last night. I dropped by KO Boxing last night, and you guys were chopping it up in there. For me, to be honest, I did sense a little bit of nervous energy from Bud. I'm going to be honest with you. The whole kind of like snapping at whoever he was snapping at in the crowd. I mean, it's one thing to look, if somebody's out there talking shit, like it's hard, it's distracting, right? You're in front of a crowd of people. And for those who have never been on a stage, being a presenter of anything, rather a public speaker, a singer, an artist, a DJ, whatever, right? There are people in front of you that are trying to distract you either in a positive or in a negative way. Now, this is a press conference. There's not a lot of background noise in regards to, there's no music. I mean, you can hear very clearly what people are saying. So whoever it was, I heard different rumors on who he was talking to, but I can see how it's distracting. It's one thing if you say, listen, man, just shut the fuck up. You're not the one fighting. We're fighting. Just shut the fuck up. I think that's the extent of what it should be. But instead, he's going in. He was going in on whoever it was. He's like, you a bitch. You got bitch energy. You got female energy. Da 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 da. And I was like, damn. And that's why Spence eventually was like, yo, y'all done? Y'all done? Because, I mean, and I feel Spence on that, And so Bomac also was getting engaged with the crowd. And you can see Spence trying to calm down his trainer because his trainer was getting sucked up into it. So in a nutshell, what I see is very calm, reserved, and confident energy from Spence. That's what I see. And from Bud, I don't want to say he's scared or nervous per se, but I feel like he's trying to hype himself up a little bit. There's a lot of bravado in his camp, right? A lot of like hoorah and like, yeah, we're gonna fuck him up, da 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 da. And Bud's like, yeah, he comes out in the weigh-in tonight, and he's rapping and he's vibing, right? Spence comes out, hardly a look on his face, right? So the press conference to me was, I see some jitters from the Bud side, a lot of hype men around him trying to boost his energy up, trying to get him psyched up for the fight. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean he's going to lose the fight. It doesn't mean he's going to put on a terrible performance. But it does show, and this is what I always tell people, it does show a lot of times when the fight gets tough in the championship rounds, usually the calm, focused, and relaxed fighter carries the day 9 times out of 10. Right? Look, think back at all the Mayweather fight and builds up. I mean, he's been involved with like crazy shit talking. Like go back to the Ricky Hatton build up. That shit was crazy. A lot of crazy talk was happening then, right? And what happened? Mayweather, at the end of the day, stayed composed and ended up getting Ricky Hatton out of there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree, King of the Dead. I mean, the whole like yelling at the spectators was kind of like, I don't know, man, a little bit cringe, to be honest with you, in my opinion. And maybe some people feel like, yeah, fuck that. Someone talking shit, you got to say something. I mean, come on, man. They're in the crowd for a reason. They're not up on the stage for a reason. You feel what I'm saying? So that's my opinion. Um, Playboy, let me know what did you think about the final press conference? Anything in particular that you noticed?
A little nervous energy. That's what I'm feeling. I don't like you said. I don't see the reason shouting in the crowd like that. Like at is Spence family first of all, and then the way he like approached it. He started off saying like things can get bad, but then he broke it down to like we don't need to be seen like this all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where he was like what he was trying to do with trying to be hard and you know be soft at the same time. I don't know if I'm saying it the right way, but like he started it off like, you know what I'm saying, like, hey, y'all know this can get ugly real quick. And then he was like, let's get it together. We don't need to be seen like this all the time. Like this is what we do type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I
Yeah,
couldn't figure that out. But before you go any further, where the fuck you been, man?
yeah.
That's what we need to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
we need you, man. We need you out here in this world, man.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I mean, I just got so much shit going on, man. I took the whole past year basically to ramp up competitions, man, fitness competitions, and just training my ass off, focus, discipline. And what a lot of people don't realize, those who do have channels definitely have an idea, but it takes a lot of work, man. It takes a
Oh,
lot of work.
absolutely.
It takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of time. You know what I mean? And so for me, I'm the type of person that I ain't gonna do shit unless I can do it right.
Yeah,
I'm
all
not
the
gonna
way.
come on here and do some bullshit and just to get views. Always quality over quantity. That's just me. And at the end of the day, I mean, I came into YouTube as because I'm a boxing fan. I do it as a boxing fan. I have a passion and a love for the sport. It's a hobby. It's not something that pays the bills. So I think in that respect, I don't feel compelled. But to be honest, other than this big fight that I felt compelled to come and give a prediction on, it's really the family. Really, it's like I know people miss me. I know people want to hear my thoughts. So you guys drive me to come back on the mic. Um, and it's fights like this too that boxing needs so desperately, and it doesn't really matter who you're going for in this fight. And boxing needs this type of fight so bad because this is what sets the standard. We haven't really, even though Pacquiao Mayweather was like whatever 3 or 4 years too late, maybe even more than that. But at least it happened. And since then, we really haven't had a fight in this weight class of this magnitude. And look how many years it took to go from Pacquiao Mayweather to here to this moment. So hopefully this sets a new standard and every other weight class follows in the right direction. The only weight class in the past probably 4 or 5 years, in my opinion, that was very active. There was a lot of belt collecting and a lot of champions fighting champions. Is the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division's been lit, right? But other than that, we got like Canelo. We got Canelo.
Right.
That's pretty much all we got. So
Wouldn't you
this is
say this year? Wouldn't you say this year is like maybe top five all time? Like the
it.
fights we've been getting this year have been like
Yeah,
it's finally taking a turn, you know.
yeah. And I think that it's a mixture of a lot of different things. Boxing was so political for so long, but to be honest with you, UFC taking over, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
UFC
But
taking over, and I've never been a huge UFC fan. I've watched a couple of fights here and there, but when I look around the landscape of martial arts, if you want to consider boxing a martial art, everybody is talking about UFC. And when they go to the gym, they're training MMA. Boxing is slowly, I want to say dying, but it was feeling that way. But it's fights like this that kind of spark the love of the sport. So I've always taken the stance, man, that it doesn't matter what side of the fence you stand on when it comes to Spence and Bud. And we all know it gets crazy in these streets, people debating this fight. I mean, it gets straight up disrespectful,
Facts.
this fight. And for me, I always like in the back of my mind, I'm like, if this fight happens, do you guys realize how much this is a victory for boxing? That's the thing that sometimes we have to step back and look at it, right? Because we spend a lot of time criticizing people I'm generalizing, but people criticize Canelo, for example, of fighting lackluster fighters when he should be fighting, such and such. And and people spend hundreds of dollars on these fights. And it's not even some of these fights like him and the Triple G fight, the last fight time they fought. Like, if you paid for that fight, in my opinion, you are just a Canelo. I don't want to say fanboy. That's
wasted
a bit rough,
money.
but you basically are a bit too committed to Canelo if you're paying for that type of shit.
Right. Part of the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the Ryder fight, like Triple G and Ryder, like,
oh, come on
now. You can't give us two of those in a row. Like, no way.
Exactly. Right. So this shit, and I like how Spence said at the end of this weigh-in, he was like, "I'm the one who made this fight happen." And we don't know for sure. I mean, we've been debating this shit about who was ducking who and why this fight took so long to make. We all have our opinions, but I'm going to be honest with you, gentlemen. Spence has been pointing it out basically during this whole buildup that he was the one that made this fight, and Bud really never disputed it. Bud basically took the stance of, yeah, it is what it is, because I had these stipulations that I wanted done. I wanted a coin toss. I wanted X amount of money. I wanted this, and this. So it is what it is. If Spence have to push to make the fight happen, I still got what I wanted out of it. A lot of tug of war. But I like how it's like a little bit of an exclamation point at the end of the weigh-in. Spence is like, yeah, I'm just letting you guys know that because of me, this fight is happening.
Yeah, he said, real quick, he said, Spence said, the title at 135, you're undisputed at 140. Your title at 147. He said, try and take that shit to the bank, because Spence said he's the one that puts butts in the seats. And he told Crawford, like, try to take that to the bank and see what happens. So that's just that statement itself. Spence made this happen by relinquishing and giving up certain stipulations for this fight to come about.
He said, it's Spence Crawford, not Crawford Spence. So why the fuck am I doing a coin toss? But it's interesting what these men had to negotiate to make this fight happen, man.
So do you think, all right, you think this is going to beat Gervonta and Ryan pay-per-view sales?
I don't know, man, but I mean, it should. Well, it's hard to say, right?
Skill-wise, it should. Like, fight-wise, it should.
If you're talking money-wise, it's tough to say, because Ryan has a huge following, right? Massive following. And Tank in his own right also has a good following, but he's a knockout artist, so everyone, people are going to tune into somebody who knocks people out. That's just the way it goes, whether you like him or not. It's just like Deontay, right? A lot of people hate on Deontay, but they still watch him because they know the likelihood of getting a knockout's pretty fucking high, right? So Tank will always get views just based off of that. So money-wise, I don't know. It should, it should sell better, just given the fact of what's on the line, right?
Right.
But these two guys are putting a lot of pressure on the whole boxing world. They're basically saying, look, if we can make this fight happen, any fight should be able to happen. There's no excuse for champions now. There's no excuse. And it kind of leads me into a little bit, I don't want to get sidetracked, but somebody mentioned in the chat earlier about how there was a confrontation between Caleb Plant and Charlo. And Caleb Plant smacking, it was Jamal, right?
Yeah, big
Jamal.
brother.
Yeah.
Bigger
so, I mean,
he's not big no more.
Nah, the other brother about to go up over
he got
him,
slapped,
and
and Jamel done gained that weight. You heard him the day before he got slapped. He was like, "No, I'm Big Charlo now. I'm Big Charlo." Good thing he said that, because damn, bro, he would have had to kill me right there. Fuck that.
Did y'all hear what Caleb Plant said?
Yeah, he said, don't touch my face. Like, and it's justified. People keep playing with him because they think he's soft. He done had to fight all his life because he was white.
Yeah, man, that man
gonna
said,
beat
"Don't put your hand
somebody
in my
ass."
face like that again, little boy." It's crazy.
So what
was so funny, dog.
Hey,
what
Divine,
what caused that? Do y'all
there.
know what sparked that? I heard something about his wife was disrespected.
Well, I don't. They've been had some type of beef, but Derek James gave a little more insight. He said, like, it started even an hour before that. They were arguing and shit. He said he seen it kind of taking like a left turn, so he calmed them down. Surprisingly, I guess he got more of a relationship with Caleb. So he was talking to Caleb, and then he was like, "All right, coach," like he was gonna calm down. And then that's when he touched his beard. Like he said he like touched his like face or beard, I guess, like on some, "Oh, calm down, little mama," or something like that. Whatever he did, but he touched his beard. And then an hour later, I guess he winds up smacking him. Caught his ass lacking.
What is it with Caleb just trying to like open hand smack people in the face?
Man,
they be playing with him, man. It seemed like he don't ever just come off doing something. Like somebody be playing with him. Like he even got a video a long time ago, him in that little trailer park hood. Him fighting some dude. Yeah, him fighting some big ass dude because they think he's scary or something. But some people just gotta go through that. Like their whole life, it don't even matter. Some people just always gonna play with certain people for some reason. You don't learn today though.
I'm trying to think about his wife, right? She must be like on edge all the time. Like at any moment, my husband just gonna snap on someone.
I don't know. Oh, did you see? It may have been actually, Devon. You could be right because I don't know exactly what it was, but shit, the information wherever you heard that from could be right because Jamel, his wife, even though they've been had beef, his wife ended up beating up Jamal Charlo's ex-wife in the parking lot. I don't know if you've seen that. She beat her ass.
Damn. No, I didn't hear about all that.
She deserves her ass whooped though. So
it just seems like every couple of months, Caleb Plant's in the media for either like talking shit to somebody or smacking somebody or whatever. And I'm just thinking like, why don't people just leave this dude alone, man? Just leave him be.
Man, they got it in slow motion and everything on YouTube. Man.
Oh yeah.
They gonna put music behind it. They gonna do a bunch of shit, especially as much shit Charlo talk. But I'm glad this happened because now, bro, you gotta fight this man next, and that's a good comeback fight. Like Charlo got a good little motor on him too, so that'll be a good comeback fight. And I believe he'll be able to knock him out for sure. Because he don't try to box with the boxer, it ain't gonna work. Like I've lost money on that David Benavidez fight, but I learned that that's just Caleb Plant. He will never have a good motor. I don't understand how you could do all this running, all this sparring. Like you can't fix. Some people, I guess, it's just like power or something. Like you either have a motor or you don't. He don't got one. He just don't got one. So
Yeah,
I will never bet on his ass.
Well, he got a 9-round motor. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like if you don't get him out of there within 8 or 9,
Yeah, I think it's
you
about
could
8,
outlast him.
7-round motor. Because
Yeah.
right after that 6 round, it was like he was beating his ass the whole first 5 to 6 rounds. Caleb was whooping him. I'm like, oh, this easy money. I knew it. All of a sudden, just ass whooping, like a switch turned on where David just start beating his ass.
Yeah, and I'll give you like an athletic perspective because it's what I do for a living. And what you find is that people with a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers tend to burn out quicker than those who have more slow twitch muscle fibers. So when you see someone like Benavidez, he is literally like a slow twitch muscle fiber Benavidez. I'm not saying he's slow. I'm saying he's not explosive, right?
Right.
He just reserves that energy, right? But Caleb is all fast twitch, bouncing, jabbing, pop, in and out. Like he expends a lot of energy. And what people need to understand is that he's fast, he's quick, he's sharp, but that shit is hard to maintain, especially at the super middleweight division. See, that's what people forget. You can't look at a 168-pound man who fights at that weight class, who probably walks around at 180, 185, right? They're not small men. You can't, because people say, oh, well, Pernell Whitaker used to have an engine. Well, Pernell Whitaker was a welterweight. Right. Mayweather was a welterweight. These are much smaller men.
And he didn't throw that many punches.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mayweather was very conservative, very efficient, right? Plant will just jab for the sake of jabbing. This dude is always
keeping distance and not trying to get hit.
Exactly. So people, that to me, when people say, he ain't got no engine. I mean, I guess, but really, I look at it from an athletic, sports perspective. He's a tall, fast twitch muscle fiber man who, walks around at 185. He's 6'1", 6'2". And yeah, he's a guy like that. You see it in the NFL all the time. Athletes who just got that short burst, short speed and power. And then they go after, you see like a running back break out for a touchdown, an 80-yard touchdown, and then he's like sitting on the sideline for the next 10 minutes trying to catch his breath, right? There's so much power and explosiveness that people don't understand how much power it takes to break tackles, right? Break tackles, bob and weave.
A lot. They weigh a lot.
They're 230, 240-pound men breaking tackles from 350-pound men, right? So you have to understand, when you put out that type of speed and power into something, and in boxing, you get a minute rest. You get 1 minute to sit on the stool. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And
so do you think you think it's better coming from your perspective? Do you think it's better for like smaller guys?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm framing this with like Crawford, because he has those twitch muscles, but he has been known to not have. We all know he don't got Spence gas tank. Nobody at that level does, probably except for maybe Boots. Do you think it will affect him in the fight, or he'll be?
Yeah. So before I get led into the prediction, which I know people are anxiously waiting for me to drop, let me real quickly talk about Stamp 1981. I see you in the building, bro. Appreciate you. Let me quickly talk about this weigh-in. To be honest with you, from the jump, I think both men look in great shape. I think there's no denying that. I think they both had a tremendous training camp. Bud he's ripped to shreds. And I saw some people putting in the comments, I think weight's a problem. I think he weighed like 146 point something, which is not far off. Spence weighed in at exactly 147. That's just crazy.
They say this morning, Bud missed it he was at 148. So I'm not sure. That was going on.
Yeah,
when I woke
like
up.
A lot of people were saying.
I'm trying to if they saying weight's an issue, that might be where it stems from.
I got you. But I'm not too worried about that. I mean,
Me either.
people don't realize how common that is. Actually, you wake up
Yeah, it's
morning
very
of the
common.
weigh-in. You wake up in the morning of the weigh-in. You're drinking water for you're hydrating. Maybe you get a small breakfast in you, and all of a sudden you go up 2 pounds, right? So, um, they just jump on the treadmill real quick, burn that water weight off, and they're good to go. These are professional athletes. And
Yeah.
Bud and Spence, they've never had issues really with weight. They have a very good track record. So I think they know what they're doing. Spence is a master at 147, and I mean he's been at the weight class his whole fucking career. So
Uh-huh.
you know he has this shit down like a science. Now Bud, he's been in the welterweight division for a minute now, but he's moved up in weight classes. Um, and I don't know why, but it feels like Bud is starting to fill out a little bit more. Like
That's
he's
why I
really
was just
starting.
gonna ask you. Do you think he's bigger?
Yeah, I
No,
think.
no. Let me say this real quick.
Go
Now,
ahead.
Spence already mentioned this is his last fight at 147, so that gives me reason to believe he's kind of at the end of trying to make that weight. Like he might be having a few issues with it. Like that.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm thinking. But I'm just plat boy.
Of
You know what I'm
course.
saying? So
He
it's
said he
like
said that though.
he's saying it like I'm like next fight 154. Like I'm not doing this 147 shit no more. So it's like making me think he may have had, a slight issue getting there, or he's tired of doing that, tired of breaking down that much.
Mm-hmm. As he should. He's big, he's older. Like, bro, imagine a grown ass man walking around at 140 something pounds.
Yeah,
And you damn near 40 years old. It's insane. And you
yeah.
5'10, like, nah, bro, you gotta do something else. But I've been seeing, I want to ask you, Devon, do you think he's gotten bigger on because it seems at this fight, I didn't see him this big during Sean Porter, nothing. And then remember, they had like a 4-month camp. Bomag released they was in camp like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking he tried to get bigger, and that may play a part with him trying to weight cut and why he probably did have a problem. If this is true, he did have a problem trying to cut that weight again coming, and then you could burn yourself out that long. I don't know if he got on weight too early or what happened, but you always see his cheekbones, but now that like you see him even more, like he looked like the Saw dude, like the Saw mask with the cheekbones. Just so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not too. I think they both look fine. I think after this weigh-in, they'll both go and have a nice meal. They'll rehydrate. I expect Spence on fight night to probably be about 152 ish, and then Bud.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's gonna go up. I think he'll go
I
up.
think he's gonna be 60 something.
Really, that big? I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
We
I
talking
don't
about
know.
rehydration?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
that
thinking like 170, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He gotta,
bro.
because even if
Yeah,
he rehydrates, bro, like that's too little. Like, just what is that? About 5 pounds?
yeah, but
No, he's going up 10 at
you
least.
talking 12 pounds. That's a lot of weight to put overnight.
Yeah, but I think it's
You
gonna be at
you
least
you
10.
you
10
you gotta
at least.
consider like if you've been training a certain way at a certain weight,
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden you try to just throw on 10 pounds overnight, that shit
yeah.
make you that'll make you sluggish, bro.
I wish I could remember what somebody said that fought him. A few people that said I don't want to repeat but I believe they have said before he shows up on fight night huge, like he's way bigger. He's in it's probably 60 something pounds,
I don't.
160 something.
I think it's too big, man. I mean, if you look back at like Mayweather when he was fighting at 147, he usually arrives at fight night like 150. So 151. He doesn't
But
blow
that was
himself
his
up.
walk around weight,
Yeah, he's a
like
smaller
in his
man.
50s.
Yeah, he's a smaller man compared to Spence. But what I'm saying is like you don't want to blow up too much because, like
Yeah,
I
for
said,
sure.
you've been training around 152 ish the whole training camp, and then you cut 5 pounds or so to make the weigh in. You don't want to just then blow up to 160 because that goes for Bud too. because Bud relies on speed and quickness and agility. You'll be surprised how much 10 pounds makes a huge difference, man. When you're
No, I know. Especially if
you know
you've
what I'm
been
saying?
training it
So
that way, it could just make your legs go if you put all that weight
exactly.
on.
So it's a science when it comes to this shit. Like I said, in my estimation, Spence will come in about 152, 153, and Bud probably around that as well, maybe a slightly less. But these guys are gonna be ready to go. So, it's possible to go up 10, 12, 13 pounds overnight, but you got to eat a lot and you got to drink a lot. And so, can your body handle that? Every fighter is different. Every fighter is completely different. Now, if for whatever reason Spence does come at 160, a fucking middleweight, basically,
Right.
then I am gonna scratch my head a little bit. I am gonna say, okay, either he's gonna be bigger and stronger, which is his objective, which it gives him more punch resistance, more power behind his punches, but I expect him to be a little bit slower, be a
For
little
sure.
bit
I wish
more
we just
reserved.
knew what he was doing before, because remember the Mikey Garcia fight, he had a rehydration clause and he wasn't pressing the issue to knock Mikey out. And he had
You
a
got to
10-pound
remember,
rehydration
But
clause.
and
you
and I
got
will
to
say this
remember if you
too,
got the IBF belt, you 10 pounds is the limit based on that
right,
belt.
right,
Yeah.
and think about this too. When he fought Porter, when Spence fought Porter for 70% of that fight was way more like a lot more activity compared to Spence, because I think Spence was just the bigger guy. So and Porter was fucking bouncing around everywhere, jumping all over him side to side. And Spence is good at keeping his target right in front of him, no matter how you're maneuvering footwork wise around him. He keeps that front shoulder in front of him. He's very good at that. But you can see how the size and the way he fights big. Spence does fight big. He fights big,
He does.
long, tall. He sits down on his punches, and that works well for him. But Porter gave him problems. Like, let's keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Porter gave Spence problems because of activity, because of relentless activity. And yes, Porter does that to everybody. But what we have to understand too, and we're leading into the prediction now, is that Bud, to me, when I look at this fight, I'm thinking, all right, I pretty much expect, I have a pretty good vision on what to expect from Spence. I will be completely shocked if Spence comes out the gate and just fucking attacks Bud. I'll be shocked at that. And what I mean by attack is like what Hearns did to Hagler, just fucking jump all over him. I just don't see Spence doing that. That is completely out of his element, and I'll just be shocked, right? Now, with Bud though, I don't know, man. I don't know what Bud we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Because I've seen different types of Buds. I've seen like clinical, technical Bud, like he was against Porter until he got the knockdown. And Porter was on his ass. Porter was all over Bud.
Right.
And Bud had to box a lot to keep Porter at bay.
And it was certain points he couldn't. Like, you just can't stop Porter from doing what he does best a lot of times. You could try to minimize it, but
most definitely. And I've also seen Bud be super aggressive.
Yeah.
Right. And just step into the pocket, throw a bunch of combinations, let his hands go. You got that big looping like left hand when he's in that southpaw position that comes in. And it's one of those shots that, like, when you look at Bud sometimes when I watch him fight, it's like, how does that fighter not see it coming? Because he's so long, right? Bud got that super fucking, like, whatever it is, like 73, 74-inch arm reach. And it seems like it takes forever to get to the target. But for whatever reason, he punches dudes in the face. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's like, it's so long. It's not like short bursts like a Broner or a Pacquiao. But it's still fast enough that it makes connections.
Yeah.
So I
And you
think
got to look at one of those shots he knocked out Porter with. He took a punch to give one. So, Bud doesn't have a problem like being in the mix. So Errol is all about being in the pocket. So that's going to be interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah, and I think we all agree that Spence punches harder than Porter.
Yeah.
So to exchange punches with Spence, probably
It's
not a
way
good idea.
different. Right. That's
Probably
why I
not
think
a
he's
good
gonna come
idea.
out and try to box.
Yeah, and
I
I don't
think
think
20
so.
shot.
Look at the emotion, like we were talking about the press conference. Look at the emotion that
Crawford.
Crawford had in the I can hear myself, my bad. That Crawford had in the press conference. Like he's gonna try to get in there. Like if Spence hits him, he wants his lick back.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? That's where I think Crawford may fall off at, is trying to match Spence punch for punch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think the fight, is what is going to be decided upon is Crawford is going to try to, he's not going to let Spence get away with nothing. And I think that's why he's going to lose.
Yeah. He's not gonna try to let him get his lick and just go on his merry way or just keep punching on him. He's
Right.
gonna try to get something
He
back.
won't like reset and recover. He's going to like go right back in it. Like, oh, you got me? Let me show you something. Just like when Bomac said you down when in the corner with Porter, he said, you down, you losing. And he was like, what? And he went out there and went for it. You know what I'm saying? I think that'll be an
Mm-hmm.
issue if he does that to Spence.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I think he will have to fight him at some point for sure. And then with everybody, we had to see both these fighters chase somebody down, but it ain't been like from the gate. If I could remember, I ain't seen them have to chase nobody. I'm trying to think of a Spence fight where he had to chase somebody out the gate. It's usually after one of them hurt somebody and they start running or trying to survive, and that's a little bit more of an easier chase, But if he comes out boxing like he did with Porter, it'll still be he gonna end up catching him, like you said, and he gonna try to sit down and fight with him because Porter caught him a couple times, and it looked like Porter actually like hurt him a couple times against the ropes. So I guess we just gonna see. I wonder how the footwork battle how it's gonna happen because that long jab, that long consistent jab is gonna get Errol in there where he needs to be.
Yeah. I think
can Crawford afford to
take them
do
rounds off?
That calculation shit the first 3 rounds? Can Crawford
Hell
afford
no.
that?
That's why I think he gonna have to fight, and it's gonna happen soon. Because even when what's Porter tried to kind of do that with him, he tried to box with him more than just running up on his ass. Like, because that's what Spence was doing too. It looked like he was smothering Spence punches in that fight. Like Spence said it himself, he's just threw away the whole game plan and just wanted to fight.
Yeah, just remember, like
fight.
Spence went in to fight Porter at his fight. He was prepared
Yeah.
to beat Porter at his fight. And Porter said that Crawford was prepared to beat him at Crawford's fight. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what makes this fight so interesting. Is like, is Crawford gonna try to get in the pocket with Spence, which we all know might not be the best thing for him, or is he gonna like play the ring, counter, switch the whole fight? You know what I'm saying? I'm pulling for Spence, but I really just don't know.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Spence too, but I'm still nervous. Like, this is one of them fights. You just don't know. It's gonna be a battle of footwork, I think, a lot of times too. That lead footwork and that jab is gonna probably determine what's gonna happen.
Well, we're gonna refer
and
back.
If he could hurt Spence, that's really gonna determine what's gonna happen.
We're gonna refer back to the poll now, see what the people are saying. Almost 70 votes in the poll now, and 34% says Spence by decision. 40% says Spence is going to get the stoppage.
That's
and then
what I
have
voted on.
16% says Bud by stoppage. 10% says Bud by decision. So So far, Spence the overwhelmingly majority in the poll. I think most of my subscribers, from what I've seen over the past year or so, are more Spence fans. So that's expected. I'm curious to know, though, however, where are the Bud fans? I
That's
had
what I want to
nobody.
know.
I had nobody speaking up in the chat. As some of you have voted for Bud. Don't be scared to click the link and explain to us why you think Bud's going to win this fight. I mean, I'm genuinely curious on your
Yeah,
thoughts.
Yeah,
because
Now,
y'all
it's
jump
not
in
a
here,
bad
man.
pick
Jump in
at
here.
all.
Biggest
Because it's
fight.
not a bad pick whatsoever. It's
Yeah.
just some people just like there's some channels where people are probably scared because there's some pro this guy or pro that guy channels, and the other guy is just shit. And whatever you say, we just gonna yell at you and call you stupid, which is idiotic. One of them channels is live right now, a Crawford channel.
Yeah.
But
oh,
yeah,
really?
I don't find it's mostly those Crawford fans that be saying that type of shit like Spence is ass, he's slow, he basic and blah blah. I'm like, so what are you gonna say if Crawford beats him? He beat a basic, slow, sorry ass fighter? Like that makes no sense to me.
Right.
I really
Yeah.
would like to hear a Crawford point of view, like somebody that has Crawford winning. I really want to hear
Yeah.
that.
Well, how do you think how you say your name, Platter Boy?
Platt boy.
Plat
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
How you think if he can pull this out? 'Cause I think he could win too, but I'm just rooting for Spence, and I got a rhyme and reason why. If you had to
Uh,
play devil's advocate, why do you think? How do you think he wins?
has to be a knockout because I don't think he can outpoint Spence with Spence's work rate. Like nothing Crawford
That's,
that is going to do is going to stop Spence from coming forward. So if Crawford wins, it has to be some crazy angle, some switch shot, where he catch Spence on a nice counter or something like that. But then again, like it's hard to see that because we've seen Spence hit with like some crazy shots. Even when he lost his mouthpiece and wasn't looking at the fighter and took a punch and didn't go down. Like
yeah.
Oh,
I'm
and
trying to see.
speaking of that, Plat Boys, I didn't. Even, I think I was watching. What do you call it? The Showtime
Oh, the All Access.
All Access. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he mentioned in the All Access that the reason why he looked down to try to find his mouthpiece because he thought his teeth got knocked out.
Yeah, he said that multiple times. He said that on
His wife podcast.
the pivot podcast, his wife podcast. He said it to Mike Tyson on Hot Boxing.
Yeah.
Like
He
I understand it because he lost those fronts. He lost all of those, and he had like a partial.
And he
or
wearing
something
that
like
old ass mouthpiece, but he got a new one now.
Yeah,
I'm
went
glad
got
he
fitted
got a
for
new
one.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it's
crazy.
gonna be hard to even take out where you could drink water with it.
And that
And
shit was
some
funny
hype.
because a lot of Crawford fans have leaned on that as a scenario of him being hurt. But what's funny about that is that I mean he definitely got hit. I mean there's no doubt about that.
But
His mouthpiece
Yeah,
his
he got
mouthpiece
smashed. It was a hard
he
shot.
it,
It was
it
crazy.
was a hard
I was
shot
at
and he
the
got
fight.
hit in the face with his mouthpiece already out too.
Right.
yeah,
And then but what's funny about it though is when he survived that round, he had a big ass smile on his face. And I was like, what the fuck you smiling about? In the moment, I'm like, ain't nothing to smile about. You almost got your fucking teeth knocked out.
Yeah.
right.
But then
I was at
I
that
realized
fight.
later
Beautiful.
after the all access, how he explained it is, I literally thought my teeth got knocked out. And when I realized I still had my teeth, that's why I smiled. I was like, all right, that's
Right, that's valid.
That's a good reason to smile.
I'd have been hurt if my teeth got knocked out. Like, bro, that's so embarrassing. Like, oh fuck, I don't give a
100.
fuck if it was a fair fight. Shoot this nigga after the fight. Shoot him. You ain't gonna knock my damn teeth out and rolling across the mat and shit. But
it's
But
like-
hey. Okay, let's go back. Divine, if you could find this clip, it would be beautiful. Mean Machine dropped Crawford, and it didn't.
and Crawford
they didn't count
lying
it as a
about it.
drop.
and shit.
They didn't count it as a drop, but Mean Machine dropped Crawford once. And
That's
they
a
didn't
fact.
count it. It was a beautiful punch. Crawford lost consciousness for a second and took a knee, like his knee dropped to the ground. But he
Mm-hmm.
always saying he's saying that Kavaliauskas pushed him down. But I watched it
Right.
over and over and over to try to give him benefit of the doubt. And no, we just had a
Right.
bad ref situation at that point.
It was the
I'm
force of
telling you.
them punches putting his ass, the rest of those punches putting him down because he hit him, and the reaction was like a tenth of a second late. And Cal Velasquez knew he was hurt, still punching on him. And then he just, like you said, that knee just gave out. And he holding on to him and shit. Like, bro, you got to drop, fam.
Here it is on the screen. So let people in the chat give your opinion. Is this a knockdown
let us know,
or
y'all.
not? Don't let Platt Boys just take the shine here with this opinion. Is this a knockdown or not? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, so he took a big shot right there with the right hand.
Yeah, that was the right. Boom.
But I think it's a body shot right there underneath.
Yeah.
Underneath the armpit that took the wind out of him. And his knee clearly hit the canvas.
See, that I'm saying, where's the push? Boom. Here's the body shot. Boom. That's a knockdown.
Oh, what a shot.
Oh.
What a shot that was. Now,
and those athletically gifted people do that a lot. Like Roy Jones did it all the time. A lot of people do that. Will just, especially if they long, just put their head back. Wilder do it all the time too, until he's just started working with what's his name? He's just so tall, just put his hands out. And Ryan Garcia do it.
That's a good point, because Malik Scott really emphasized to Wilder. You can see it, keeping his hands up all the time, and using it like it's kind of like Malik's style to use your hands like Kung Fu style, to not just catch punches but parry. Like you're constantly parrying, like wax on, wax off type shit, and catch and shoot.
Yeah.
And which is great for Wilder, because he's always, like you said, he's had a tendency when a fighter's coming forward, like when he fought Fury, because in the third fight, Wilder came out going to the body, keeping his hands up, and that was like, that was signs of Malik right there. But then as the fight wore on, him being tired and hurt, he reverted back to the old Wilder, with his chin up in the air and just stepping backwards. The guy's coming, he's just stepping backwards instead of trying to actively use.
Yeah, because he ain't never fought nobody as tall as him.
Hey, it's the same thing.
Never had to worry about that.
It's the same thing with Big Baby Anderson against Charles Martin. Big Baby would just step straight back. Charles Martin would come with a left, right down the middle.
Now, watch this slowly. And this is something that I've always criticized Bud for. And like Chavo was saying, it's very true. Athletically gifted fighters have a tendency to have their chin up in the air because they're so reliant upon their reflexes, right? And notice how Mean Machine is going to the body, and then he goes to the body there, and he's lining up that right hand, and he loops it, right? And see this is the difference between Bud and Spence. Is Bud, when a big looping shot comes in, notice how he leans back with both of his arms down. Y'all see that?
Right.
Okay. He's trying to use his reflexes to get out of range, but his hands are down. And of course, he gets caught. Boom. You see his head just turn around.
Yeah.
That's what shook him. That's what shook him up, right? So the difference between Bud and Spence is, if this is Spence, he's going to absorb the shot with his hands up.
Facts.
Right? He absorbs it. If he knows that he doesn't have enough range to avoid it, he's got his hands up and he absorbs it. And then he returns fire. Right? So this is Bud relying on his athleticism. He gets clipped and his equilibrium wasn't quite there. And you see how he automatically reaches out to grab, right? Because he's hurt. He's 100% hurt.
Is that where Spence was talking about? I have more skills, but Terence is more talented. It's like that's the difference we're talking about.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. He was
But
saying
how
that
is this how is this not a knockdown though?
that's a knockdown.
Just bullshit ass refing. That's why I think they should change. We do like baseball and shit. We can go to a replay and count that shit, man. That shit is sad.
What's
This shit happen too often.
who's the referee for the fight?
I can't
Oh
remember
fuck, I
his
forgot
name,
his name.
but
He fought.
that's the thing where like you know what I'm saying. If Kavaliauskas, if that counted as a knockdown, who knows what Mean Machine would have did after that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who was
Like
the ref when he fought Lamont
Peterson.
Yeah, whoever the ref was then, I believe is ref now.
Okay, I'm not sure that guy's name.
Yeah, it actually wasn't. I don't think a body shot landed cleanly.
No,
I just think he was wobbled from that right hand. But yeah, that's a clear knockdown. Boom. Yeah. So
oh man.
That may be what he's talking about. That last body shot getting hit with his him hitting him with his bicep. Talking about
it might have but
it was a punch in motion, bro. Like there's no push.
Right.
I hope we don't see. I was saying earlier that I think that this fight is going to be a hell of a fight. I think a lot of people are underestimating. I don't know how they could or would, but I think it's going to be on the edge of the seat type shit for sure. The whole fight.
Facts. I can't fucking wait, son.
and you know what? Only thing that I hope doesn't happen is some bullshit ass shenanigans with the referee or some other shit that's going to ruin this massive fight.
Right.
You know, that'll be a shame. Like some instance where a knockdown isn't called, or you know, there's like low blows that are not being you know, being accounted for by the referee. Like people don't realize how important, especially in championship fights, are referees. That's why they say third man in the ring for a reason. There's literally a third man in the ring, and how they, you know, referee the fight is massive. You know,
yeah.
And so especially when you got two guys, man, that are so good, and it's just like you, in my opinion, you got to let them fight.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I hope the referee is just silent. Like just we don't need him. I hope it's like that.
And I don't think in this fight there'll be a lot of holding. I don't think there'll be a lot of holding.
Right. I don't think it'll be a lot of holding.
Him like how he held Mean Machine, because Spence is used to people trying to hold him. After you getting your ass beat for so long, shit, you reaching out to somebody to grab. So he been used to that, so he ain't gonna let him grab on him.
Yeah, that could be a pivotal moment too, because if Crawford does a lot of holding or attempts to, and the ref is saying break, that actually works against Spence.
Yeah,
so, because he ain't gonna have his activity up.
Right.
Back in the day, I'm trying to think of which referee what it is. I know Stormy B man would know for sure. I want to say Mills Lane, but you know, when fighters would tie up, he would just go and smack the shit out of their arms, be like, fight out of it. He's like smacking them, right? It's like you fight out of the hold, you know, fight out of the break, instead of me having to constantly. And as a referee, that shit gets exhausting. Like people don't realize you're trying to break up two guys that are like latched onto each other. I mean, these two guys are thoroughbred welterweights. Imagine having to deal with heavyweights doing that shit. And heavyweights obviously hold more than any division.
Right.
But
trying to peel Tyson Fury off Deontay Wilder, fuck that. Y'all fight out that shit.
That shit's
some
crazy.
5'8" dude, little 5'8" white guy. Break it up. Big ass Tyson.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a firm believer, and fighters get tied up to fight out of it, you know. And the only reason a referee should have to break it if there's clearly one fighter that is clearly just holding and not trying to fight, Otherwise, you got to let these guys, they're championship fighters, man. This is what people come to see. They want to see these two men go toe-to-toe and find out who's the better man. We ain't want trying to referee or watch the referee be involved in the fight.
The whole fight, right.
We ain't trying to see that shit, okay? Just get out of the fucking way. And another thing is, too, is that not only do I not want to see shenanigans in regards to, possibly being a knockdown not being called, but also, for the love of God, if there is a knockdown, please, referee, be on point and do an accurate count, because we've seen some bullshit on that too. And don't let me refer back to Fury Wilder 3 when Fury got knocked down.
Goodness,
that was like, I've watched it at least. I watched it 50 times, and I'm, to this day, I'm still confused on why it took so long to pick up the count. And I never understood why you redirected Wilder in a corner, which he was already heading to the neutral corner anyway. I never understood that. And you pick up the count at like 4 when it should have been at 7. So that's the type of shit that I don't want to see in this type of fight.
So are we predicting a knockdown?
Well,
I think Spence
like,
stops.
Who's most susceptible to a knockdown? Like, based off Kavaliauskas' knockdown,
Terence.
or we're saying Terence is the one that's going to get dropped?
Just because I think they can both be dropped, but I think just because he's shown that in the past, like, he's been knocked down, actually. I think that's why. And then him not being defensively responsible as he should be, him just relying on his, athletic abilities. Even Amnesian caught him with some great shots too. And just that thump of Spence is really going to show. That thump of Spence is really going to show. I'm telling you.
It's definitely different. Spence is definitely different.
And the only time Spence got hit, and like people talk about when he got hit by Ugas, he wasn't looking.
Yeah, and it's the
he
same
got a
thing.
Free lick.
It happened in the Danny Garcia fight too, where he like had a lapse, and it was the same
at least
thing
Danny Garcia didn't get to hit
teeth
him.
issue. Yeah.
Here's the thing about Spence.
Out of there. He would have been out of there if Danny hit him without him looking.
Yeah, for sure.
Spence is there to be hit, but he is hard to hit flush. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Bud is going to hit Spence. Yes, he's going to hit him. And the question is, can he hit the sweet spot? And I think for Spence, to me, and some people don't agree with this. I'm sure the Bud fans don't agree with this, but I'm still waiting for them to comment, by the way. They're pretty silent. Spence is what Marvin Hagler was in the welterweight division as Marvin was in the middleweight division in regards to durability.
Yeah.
Different styles, different type of demeanor and character, but durability, very similar. It was
almost the same style, though.
Extremely difficult to hurt Marvin Hagler.
They both came forward, so
yeah.
Both had a nice jab. Both was defensively responsible, and even when they took punches, it didn't fucking matter. Like, it looked like it did not matter where you hit Hagler, just coming.
Divine is so they might be more similar than we think, because like look at when they throw the punch, how they come back home. Like, the hands are still up.
Yeah.
It's pretty close, but I understand.
Yeah, I think their styles are the same, about the same. Big Terminator style.
That's so. With that being said, and I've referred to this many times, I think I've heard people throw predictions and get analytical with it and styles this and styles that. But to me, I'm a historian of the sport, and I always refer back to the classic fights. And the irony is quite remarkable, because it's been mentioned in this whole fight buildup: Hearns, Hagler, Leonard, Duran, right? And all welterweights all fought each other, in that division. And here we are for another undisputed fight in the welterweight division. But if you were to choose, if we were to say that Spence emulates Marvelous, who does Bud simulate? That would be Hearns, right?
Yeah,
the more rangier guy, longer,
long, rangy,
whipping
active,
punches,
athletic, right? And again, I invite everybody to go watch Hagler-Hearns.
Craziest fight I ever seen.
Right, and it's so short, and it's crazy how that's just such a great fight, and it's that short.
It's 3 rounds, and it's like so much into that fight that it's just amazing. It's unbelievable,
just beautiful.
And I'll be honest,
you see how fast Hearns was and how much he moved, but it's like he made
Hagler,
that ring
and Hagler
small.
was cut bad. Hagler was cut bad in that fight.
Yeah, early. I think right above his eye, right?
Yep.
Well, I mean, I have seen that fight so many times, and the way Hearns came out when that bell rang, it's still to this day, like, I think it just threw everybody off. It was like, this guy's crazy. Hearns is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, fuck pacing the fight. It was almost like, I don't want to say that he trained for 5 rounds just to knock out Hagler, because that would be irresponsible for a world champion. But it's kind of like that, though.
Yeah.
It's like he was prepared to be like, you know what? Fuck trying to go, and back in those days, I think still at that time, they were 15 rounds, right? So I'm pretty sure it was still 15, or it might have moved to 12 at that point.
You don't think he was just trying to gain his respect? Because that's what people say Crawford's going to need in order for Spence to not be the Terminator and just keep coming.
Well, Hearns said he didn't.
Because didn't he run right out there and just start jabbing on him?
Yeah, Hearns didn't have a choice, he said. He said, I had to fight like that because I didn't have a choice.
I mean, I don't dispute that. But the look,
but
go back.
You could tell
he
was ready for a dog fight.
Yeah.
Go back and watch Hearns and see the look on his face when he steps back to his corner. But I mean, even here in the look at her, look at
the stare, man. Like
he looked like he want to kill somebody. He even looked like Bud with the cheekbones.
Yeah.
It's like his mind was already prepared at this moment. When that bell rings, I'm just gonna go for it.
Right.
I'm just gonna go for it.
Take the fight to the fighter.
Yeah, and watch what happens. This for all the young ones watching right now who haven't seen this fight.
Bro, when I first seen this fight, I was elated. I was like, how the fuck have I never seen this? Well, I'm too young.
Yeah.
But
look at this. Look at this.
Just cool calculation.
Look at this look. Hey, this is Bud right here. This is Bud.
It is.
This is Bud, y'all. This is how Bud was looking today. Bro. That is Bud right there. That's how he was looking at the weigh-in. Look at that.
Yeah, he did that at the press conference when they when Spence turned. He was looking at him still.
See, you can tell the look by Marvin, right? Marvin is probably thinking, all right, let me go over the game plan in my head one more time. All right, cool. I'm going to, he had a plan. You can see he had a plan. Where Hearns did it, it's almost like he didn't have a plan, except I'm coming after him. I'm going to throw the whole kitchen sink at him. Let's see if he can take it. And that was it. And you can see right here how Hagler is a little bit shell-shocked at first. Look at Hearns. Watch him. Actually, Hagler throws the big first punch.
Right. That's how I thought. I was like, didn't he just come out jabbing at him? Like, instead of trying to, well, I guess the better phrase would be on the front foot jabbing.
Oh, God damn. Did you see that right hand?
With a nice one.
And I think that Hearns thought it was over. I think he's like, normally I hit somebody with that punch, it's over.
It's done, yeah.
Because he would just knock dudes out with that right hand. But Hagler took it. Now watch what happens. Boom.
Oh.
And then Hearns goes crazy.
Yeah. He thought he had him right there.
This is the first round, y'all. First round.
The greatest
The
first
first
round in
goddamn
history.
minute, bro. It's
Not even the 10th round or the 11th round. Look, and Hearns is loading up with everything he's got.
the durability is insane because Hearns those aren't no soft punches.
Oh, those are not soft.
Like Hearns was killing motherfuckers in the ring.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But how was it up to the lead up of this fight, Divine? Like, was it being said? Is it kind of like eerily similar to what's being said now about both fighters? Like, do you think he needed to feel he has to come out there and prove himself or fight the fighter type shit?
I think, it's kind of like Hagler was the favorite, right? And I
Right.
think Spence is the favorite. I don't know what the betting odds are, but I think if you talk to most
People.
experts or
Yeah.
fighters, they would probably have the slight edge for Spence. It was the same thing for Hagler versus Hearns. It was like Hagler's big, he's strong, he's durable. I just don't see him cracking. But it's Hearns, right? It's Hearns. Like he has the ability to just shock you. And it's very, very similar to Bud. It's like you look at Bud and Spence, and people are like, Spence is he's a legitimate welterweight. He is the king of the division for a reason. He has beat some of the best welterweights in his era. He's fought everybody almost. And so we haven't really seen him hurt or cracked or show a lot of vulnerability. And Hagler was very similar. Yeah, when he fought Leonard was a little bit quicker, a little bit technical. But was Hagler ever hurt? Nah.
No.
He was just outperformed, right, by a slightly more technical, pure boxer in Ray Leonard. But it's crazy how, to answer your question, Chavo, it's like in the build-up to Hearns Hagler was the favorite, and Hearns was the guy trying to say, nah, like I'm that guy, right? I'm the quicker, more athletic guy. He's never faced a guy like me before. I'm going to be too much for him, too fast, too strong. And in the buildup was a bit similar. I don't remember in details as far as like press conferences and things like that.
Yeah.
You would have to talk to someone like Stormy B, man. But I remember my dad talking about this fight a lot, and I remember him telling me how Hagler was the boogeyman. Like it was like he was the guy that nobody could actually could imagine him being knocked out. Right? And it's like Hearns, though, Hearns has been hurt before. This wasn't the first time. I don't think he was legitimately knocked down and legitimately hurt. So people had that in the back of their minds. Like, it's like we've never seen Hagler really hurt, but we've seen Hearns hurt before. But with Spence Crawford, it's very similar. We haven't really seen Spence that hurt, but we've seen Crawford hurt. We've seen him knocked down where it should have been called a knockdown. We've seen him get hit with his chin up in the air.
I think he was hurt more when what's that guy's name? When Gamboa hit him. It looked like he was real hurt. His legs went. Yeah, you could tell he getting tired.
I have a feeling watching this fight that I think Bud is going to be moving around very similar to what Hearns is doing here. Like long rangey jab, in and out, not with his hands down as much as Hearns. Hearns is crazy having his hands down like this against Hagler. Absolutely crazy. Right. This guy, he relied on his athleticism so much. But those who know this fight knows what happened. Him having his hands down like this worked against him. But you see how Hagler was always consistent, right? Even though he's coming forward, he's always got his hands up. And if the head is not available, he's always ripping to the body. And that's something he's hitting something. Elbows, shoulders.
Yeah.
And Spence is very similar, right? Very consistent. Oh, God damn. Oh, God. Hearns is taking big punches here.
Yeah.
See,
you can see
Hearns,
by the way he's swaying.
Guys, I'm here to tell you right now. What's up, G Funk? What's up, Fred? I'm here to tell you guys right now that I will guarantee you this. I don't care what nobody says. There ain't no way Bud is beating Spence on the inside.
No way.
And you see it right here too. Hearns was getting beat up on the inside against Hagler. Right? He struggled immensely. The advantage that Hearns had was that one shot that he landed, right? That rangy, looping right hand that caught him. But he's got to fight at range this whole fight. If he gets sucked into the inside fight, guys, Spence is going to stop Crawford. I'm telling you.
It's a fact.
I'm telling you right now. Now, Bud can still win this fight if he fights a long, rangy fight, quick in and out, landing shots, body, head, mixing it up, activity, get points, score points, get rounds in the bag. Right?
Well, right there, yes. Devon, do you think he's gonna up his activity?
He's got no choice because
on the inside.
If
anywhere, because Spence gonna be coming for him.
But if you're too complacent against Spence, Spence is constantly touching that body. He's always, if you watch Spence, right? If you're Bud and you're Bomac and you're watching video footage of Spence, you're watching how he loves to move forward, but he loves to set his feet. See, that's one thing that Porter and his dad, you can tell, worked on. They knew that Spence is most dangerous when his feet are set and he can load up with those massive body shots. If Spence's feet are not set, you can move around him, you can maneuver, you can score points, you can outwork him on activity. But the moment Spence gets on the inside and sets his foot down into the foundation of the canvas, he fucking hurts you. He hurts you quick. And I don't care how much people think, oh, but Bud, man, he's tough. Man, listen.
Shit. Everybody tough until Tom Porter was real tough.
Listen, I'm going to say it. I've been saying it for so long. This is a legitimate, bona fide welterweight we're talking about right here. So if you think that Bud is going to be able to step in the pocket and go toe-to-toe with Spence, guess what? He's going to end up like your boy Hearns right here. Hearns is struggling right here.
And this
because Hagler's got the shorter arms. He's got the compact kind of build. And he's look how he digs. Look how Hagler just digs and digs and digs. And look at all this energy that Hearns is expending with this bob and weave and moving around. And Hagler is just consistent digging. Digging.
Yeah. You can see the difference.
Digging. And Hearns is just trying to punch hard and moving a lot. His upper body is just moving constantly because he's not an inside fighter. That's what I'm trying to explain to you all. He's really not. Look at all this movement he's doing here. And every punch Hearns throws, he's throwing with all of his power. Now, I'm not saying that Bud's going to do that, but Bud is the longer, rangier fighter. He's got a disadvantage on the inside. And just like Hagler, Spence is very consistent on the inside. So this is why I refer back to this fight so much. For the past 2 years, I've been telling people. And so we're watching it one more time to kind of remind people
that's the cut. That's the cut.
Yeah. That came from that big shot early in that round.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Teach? We got
there's a Bud fan.
We got John AK in the building, says Bud wins.
Tell us
I'm
why,
curious.
John.
Yeah, tell us why. And if you want to jump in, here's the link. Devontae Moss, what's good with you? Yeah, so look at how Hearns always has his hands down. He perfected this style, obviously one of the greatest to ever do it. But against somebody, look at this. Against somebody like Hagler, it was like inevitable. This fight was inevitable because of the style matchup.
But do
And
you think he'll give
just
up his height like that? I mean, well, his reach. It's only a 2-inch advantage, right?
but
But do you think he'll give it up as easily as like Hagler did?
it's not so much like a 2-inch
I
or
mean,
3-inch or whatever. It's just how he throws punches as well. Bud is he's it's rangy punches, right? And so Spence got long arms too. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. So Spence got long arms too, but he's perfected his style from the beginning. You know, fighting on the inside and using his range as leverage rather than range. That's the key. So Hearns comes out in the second round back behind the jab, which makes more sense because his corner probably told him, like, look, man, you can't stay on the inside like that. You got to keep moving. And so you can tell he's trying to do that. But again, Hagler's just so consistent, man. Just keeps coming, hands up. And like Chavo said, he's going to punch something, right? Oh, damn. That was a trip, but you can see those legs just starting to get
that was the turning point. That was the turning point where Hearns had it in the bag.
The thing I love about about Hagler is, I mean, God, the way he.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the way Hagler took punches is just phenomenal. The way he took punches just kept coming. And it must have been so demoralizing to fight Hagler because you can hit him with your best punch and he just looks at you. He just looks at you. Like, that's it? That's all you got?
Like, it don't look like he stops.
And we talking about the hitman. We talking about a hitman. We talking about a guy that Mike Tyson mentioned how he's been in gyms where Hearns would spar heavyweights and hurt heavyweights. Mike Tyson said that on his podcast. Mm-hmm. He's seen Hearns hurt heavyweights in sparring. So this guy does not punch light. That just shows you how tough. It shows you how tough Hagler was. You can see the velocity of Hearns' punches start to slow down already. And a lot of it is the body shots he took in that first round.
Yeah, because it looked like he tired already.
Yep.
Hey, but going against him, how could he fight it any different, though? Like, how could Hearns do any different than what he put out there?
Yeah.
Because the guy's in his face.
Coming out as well, they both came out hot, but Hearns, I think he just loaded up with his punches way too much early.
Yeah, he should have boxed more. He should have
boxed more, reserved his energy. I mean, his hands down like this is just fucking incredible.
See, at that point right there, this part of the fight, if he had any energy and was fighting in this situation, like boxing would have, he could have got through a little more. It probably would have been a 6-round knockout instead of a 3rd, but boxing would have helped him out a lot more here.
So what do you think,
he was
guys?
Still trying to load up.
He's loading up with everything.
Yeah,
especially
he's still
with
trying to load up here.
Yeah. Especially with those left hooks. Now, do you guys think that we're going to see – and Hagler is bleeding. He's leaking.
Yeah.
Hagler is leaking. That's that left hook, I think. Hearns got him with one of those left hooks.
Mm-hmm.
But this inside, look how Hagler is just bullying Hearns on the ropes. Hearns had no chance on the inside. Look at this.
He's way too long.
Boom. And he just keeps his head. Boom. Just keeps digging. Keep chipping away. This is what I expect Spence to do, y'all. for all you youngins out there who've never seen this fight, there's a reason why I'm showing it.
It's looking like reach might not be an issue because Hearns has the
I was about to
reach.
say, you think his jab will give him problems because Kell Brooks' jab was giving both of them problems. But Spence has a very good jab. So does Terence Crawford, but he's not known for pumping his jab at all.
I think Hearns goes to the corner after that second round thinking, God damn. What round is this?
Second.
This is round 3?
That's round 2. There's round 3 coming up. That shit crazy, man.
The Diesel, what's up, bro? What's up? He says that he thinks it's gonna look like Spence versus Peterson.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. That was one of Spence's best boxing performances, to me at least.
John AK says he thinks Crawford will win just from gut feeling.
Oh, gut feeling. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to John, but I get that a lot from Bud fans. I struggle to get a clear, concise answer on why they think Bud's gonna win. It's usually, I just feel it. Well, this is boxing, man. You gotta break that shit down, bro. You can't go to a barbershop and say, "Oh, I think this guy gonna win," and not say why. Like if you're gonna debate Jordan and Kobe and LeBron, you got to state your case. You can't just say, "Oh man, I think LeBron the GOAT," because he just a big guy that dunks on people.
Just because I like him.
Yeah, because I like how he does this and that. No, you got to break that shit down.
It's not like it's a bad pick, bro. Like you can
it's not. It's 50-50 down. This when they say 50-50 fight, this is the most even fight in the past. Would y'all agree? 20 years, 25?
Yeah, like evenly, especially on paper. If we talking on paper, he could get in there and do his ass like how we watching right now. But shit, we don't know that.
And to be honest with you, it's more, in my opinion, intriguing and more of a 50-50 fight even than Mayweather-Pacquiao.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Because
even though
Go
people
ahead.
tried to promote it like a 50-50 fight, I mean, I always knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that Mayweather was going to beat Pacquiao 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Yep. Even if he fought him 8 years before then.
Mayweather shined when people came forward. He shined against offensive boxers.
Oh goddamn, Hearns, he out there wobbling.
Yeah, it was ugly at this point. It got real ugly right here. Oh, Divine, that Jasmine Platt in the chat, that's my brother.
Oh yeah?
So we just got him in there. Make sure you subscribe, Jazz.
What's up, Jazz? Thanks for dropping by.
I wonder who's going to win that jab battle. I believe it's going to be Spence just because he pumps it more.
Well,
that's going to be interesting to see.
Bud's got more of like a fluid jab, like he's a bit more fluid with it, but Spence is more like technical step into the jab, like step into it, right? And even if he doesn't land it, it's like he's aiming for the sternum. He'll go downstairs with it. I always liked how Spence bends at the waist. I like his movement, how he keeps his target really small, keeps that shoulder up, keeps his hands up. I've always liked that about Spence. I mean,
he's just defensively responsible, bro. Like when Spence throws a punch, even a combo, the arm that just threw the punch comes back home.
Yeah,
you feel what I'm saying? Like watch his combinations. If he throw a body shot that left with the right or whatever, it comes back home before the left goes out. Like everything comes back home. He's defensively responsible.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask y'all.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Damn!
It's over.
It's over. The fuck out. Why is he still counting?
He just was.
Hearns was spent. He was so
back
spent.
then they gonna count, baby. Back then they gonna count you.
Right. He was laid the fuck out. He was literally sleeping and woke up like, oh shit. Yeah.
But that's just how the first Wilder fight. He
was laid out just like that.
Yep.
Did y'all do y'all think he's gonna fight how he was? Well, not do y'all think. What do y'all think about him, Spence, during his media workout? Because it looked very tailored to him chasing somebody around the ring and walking them down.
Well,
I don't know if y'all remember the media workout, and
I
him
watched
staying really defensively responsible.
Yeah, but they're not gonna give you the plan in the media
Yeah,
workout.
the
They
whole
just
plan. Yeah, for
right.
sure.
So like whatever they show you there, I can't really. I think that's just for fans to actually see the fighters. You know what I mean? Like up close, because I don't think they're actually giving away like a plan to how they're actually gonna fight in the media workout.
John AK, I appreciate the super chat, bro. Thanks for stopping by. I think you're new to the channel, so I appreciate you showing love. This is what it's all about, man. Better late than never to come out here and get our final thoughts out on these public airways. Gonna check on the poll. We got 100 votes now.
Damn.
38% Spence by stoppage, 33% Spence by decision, and we got Bud by stoppage, 17%. So it's creeping up slowly. The Bud by stoppage creeping up slowly. Now I'm gonna say this, right? I'll put it to you guys this way.
I'm being in the chat. I'm finna eat real quick.
I think that Spence can win either by stoppage or decision. I think he can do either one, depending on how the fight goes. But for Bud to win, I think the only way he wins is by decision. I don't think he wins by a knockout. That's just my opinion. I just don't see Spence. The only way he knocks out Spence is that for some reason in an exchange, because Bud has that kind of unorthodox style where he loops something over that you don't see coming. So the only way is I see Spence stepping forward, maybe trying to land a body shot, and Bud just dips underneath and throws something that he doesn't see, catches him, hurts him. What I do know about Bud is Bud, if he hurts Spence, he will try to finish it.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
I guarantee you. He is
But,
not going to be careful. If he sees Spence just wobble a little bit, he's going to jump on his ass.
Devon, just to play devil's advocate, Sean Porter wasn't stopped either. So, you know what I'm saying? Like it's boxing. We may not see it, but shit can happen. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, like it like I don't see Bud dropping Spence, but it's a possibility. Like the shit is out there, man. This is this is the hardest fight to make a pick, if any. Like
it is.
It's there, but I in my gut feeling, I got Spence, 10th round stoppage.
But you know what, Plyboy? You know what, bro? Not to cut you off, but I was just thinking now. I was just thinking now. Nobody would have predicted that Wilder Fury 1 would have been a draw.
Absolutely. At all.
Nobody would have predicted that. It would have been Wilder by knockout or Fury by decision.
Right.
That is like people were very confident, and that makes sense. But with this fight, there are just so many possibilities. So many possibilities. Right. I think with Fury Wilder 1, people were like I said, Wilder by knockout or Fury by decision. And then it threw us a loop, right? It was a curveball, and that ended up being a draw with that 12th round knockdown that was nearly a knockout, like all of the drama. So to your point, boxing is never consistent.
At all.
Boxing, I mean, this is a fight that can literally be a first round knockout.
A draw isn't a bad pick either in this fight, says Patrick. He's absolutely right. Like,
yeah,
I hate 100%. Draws, but I mean, with this fight, it's like it's just hard to like put your hand on it. Like,
and if it's a draw, both fighters keep their belts, right? So,
right.
I mean, in a way, the only good thing that comes out of a draw is that you know you're going to get a rematch.
So
And
if it's a draw, do both of how does that rematch clause work in a draw? Like, either one of them say rematch is a done deal.
I'm not sure, but I think it's pretty much, if it's a draw, it's a draw. Spence is still the A side.
Right.
Um,
I got you.
so yeah, I don't really know the logistics, and I don't even know if there's a rematch clause in this fight in the
Yeah, both
contract.
both both have a rematch clause.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, it's kind of like again referring back to Wilder Fury 1. If Wilder would have knocked out Fury, there would have never been a rematch.
Right.
The
At
the
all.
the the fact that Fury got up is the only reason why there was a rematch. Right? Nobody would give a shit about, oh, Fury was boxing well. If he got knocked out, that's it. I mean, I don't see there's rarely rematches after a knockout.
Right. Because remember, Fury, like that fight only happened because Anthony Joshua wouldn't fight for undisputed.
Yeah.
Because that was the fight we were waiting on, and Joshua didn't do it. So Fury, Wilder said he called Fury up like, "Come on, let's get it." You know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
first of all, if Joshua would have fought, we wouldn't even probably heard of Fury again.
Yeah, for sure. So to drop a prediction, well, I would say this: betting money on this fight is extremely challenging. I don't even know. I'm not really a betting person. I bet once in a blue moon, but if I were to bet on this, like it's hard, man. It's so hard because a decision is very possible, very, very, very possible. I would give a slight edge to a decision, for either one of these guys at about 55%.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I would say, about 35% would be a knockout. It's just so tough to call. But as much as I've been distracted by a few things in regards to Bud. Like when I see his training, when I go back and watch his past fights, I'm always like, I don't know, man. He's got that like kind of otherworldly, unorthodox athleticism, you know? And it makes him so tricky. It makes him so unpredictable. And he can be in a situation where he is getting touched up, hurt, and all of a sudden, boom, he just hits you. And we've seen him do that so many times in fights where we feel like, oh, damn, like he's getting exposed. And then all of a sudden he just unleashes hell. And he just knocks dudes out. He hurts them. And what I'm not going to do is underestimate Bud's toughness. And I know a lot of people that, especially the diehard Spence fans, that Bud's too small. He's moving up. He's biting off more than he can chew. He's not tough enough. He's not good enough. He's been hurt before. This and that. Like, I think that is a little bit irresponsible to think that way. And I think that people that are underestimating Bud are going to be surprised on how tough and how tough he is and how tough he's going to be for Spence. To me, what this fight comes down to is consistency, the ability to stay calm under pressure, stick to your game plan, not get caught up by the crowd, by the moment, which both of them should be able to do. They're at the peak of the sport and the peak of the division. But this is different. This is different though. This is like fighting at an arena in the mountains of somewhere in the middle of Rome, entertaining 10,000 people, and then all of a sudden you go into the fucking Coliseum.
Yeah.
And you got to entertain 50,000 people. It's completely different, right? Different level, this shit, right?
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick. How much weight do you put on Crawford knocking out all 7 opponents in the welterweight division he's faced.
One simple answer. They're not Spence.
There.
None of those guys he's knocked out. It's not Spence.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, not just skill, but just durability, chin, all of that shit. I mean, I don't care what nobody says, and I've heard people from the Bud side say, "Man, Spence is irresponsible. He's out there being an idiot. Getting into a car crash and this and that." And I'm like, all right. I mean, that's fair enough, but he walked away from that shit. This guy walked away from a rollover accident. I think he got flung from the car too, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he walked away. He walked away from that shit.
Is it okay to take that out of the equation now because of how he looked against Danny Garcia, how he looked against Ugas, even after the retina surgery? Like, he looked fucking phenomenal. Like,
yeah.
Where are we going with it?
He actually said himself that he feels like his eye is even better than it was before.
Right. I heard him say that. You're right.
Which is crazy. But, I mean, I don't know. That's probably a little bit of an exaggeration. But, I mean, this guy's toughness shouldn't even be of any question. Like, and it's just his and I think he lives I think despite what people have tried to say about him, I think he lives a fighter lifestyle. And I've seen people say, "Oh, wow, we've seen him out in Texas drinking. People have seen him around Texas partying and being out of control." I mean, look, it's easy. Let me say this. It's easy for us as boxing fans to criticize professional boxers for not living a healthy lifestyle when you're quick to point fingers at a professional boxer who's at, he's the top 1% in regards to athletes in the world, when you don't got your own fucking life in order.
Right.
Right. So at the end of the day, when you make millions of dollars and you're one of the best names, best talents in the sport of boxing, yeah, you're probably going to go out and have a few drinks and go live life a bit.
Absolutely.
Like what do we expect fighters to do? Just stay at home.
Yeah, fight and go right back home. Don't
go right
do
back home
crazy.
and just sit in the jacuzzi for the next 6 months until your next fight. These are human beings, right? They want to enjoy life. They want to hang out with their friends. They want to have a few drinks if they want to do that. If they want to hit up a club, hit up a bowling alley, hit up a roller skate rink, whatever the case may be. Like, these are human beings. So I feel like when we get a little bit too critical, we see a fighter out in town. I mean, we're not talking about like Oscar De La Hoya doing lines of coke in Cali, right?
Nah.
And putting together like orgies and shit.
Yeah. We got to remember they get paid. They get paid for those appearances too, like to show up to a club and this and that and different engagements. Like, they get 100%. Paid for that. Like,
100%. And shit happens. I've had some really bad motorcycle accidents personally that thank the gods I was able to walk away from. But it's just scary, and you don't plan on it. Nobody plans to get into a vehicle or on a bike and plan to crash or whatever, right? Shit happens, and a lot of times it happens when you least expect it. So we should all just be thankful, because imagine the amount of criticism that Spence gets for that moment. And a lot of people were saying that his eye was photoshopped. I remember when he was about to fight Pacquiao, they were saying that he was making excuses about the eye, and the eye patch was on the wrong side or some shit like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
People were pulling all kinds of shit out of their ass. And it's sad because, I mean, this man could have been dead.
They wanted medical records and everything, man.
He could have been dead from the type of accident a lot of people don't even walk away from. An accident like that. I mean, look what happened to Paul Williams. Look what happened to Paul Williams. The man is in the wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And people forget the type of fighter he was and what he brought to the sport. And it refers back to a very famous line in the movie Paid in Full. We all seen that movie, right?
Yeah.
And there's a scene in there where they're sitting on the couch, and Mitch is basically like the streets are drying up, and he's not making money. He's sitting on the couch, and he tells Ace, he says, they love me when I'm on the top, but when I'm not on the top, are they still going to love me? And that quote, that scene in that movie has always resonated with me, right? Is that you got to always have, no matter what your status is in life, you'll be surprised at the majority of the people that are around you, that claim to support you, the followers that you have on social media or even in your personal life. When things get tough and you're not at your best, those who are loyal to you will stick by you. And they love to love you when you're at your best, but they can't stand to be around you when you're at your worst. And that's when you know who your true friends are. And you'll be surprised if you have a group of 50 friends, and when shit gets tough for you, you only got 5 people left supporting you. So
Your mic broke out, Divine. I'll be right back. Give me a sec.
all right, I think we're back, man. Apologies, my internet cut out for a second. Anyway, yeah, I forgot what I was saying. I had to restart my router. But yeah, anyway, I think I was talking something about, when you know who your friends are. So imagine within our own personal lives, when we think about the moments when we've had hard times and those people who stick by us in those tough times. Imagine when you're basically a celebrity. That's like magnified times 10, right? So sometimes we just got to be thankful that someone like Spence was able to walk away from that, which now we have one of the greatest fights of all time about to happen Saturday night. So now for my official prediction, now that we have cut it and sliced it every which way we possibly could. If you guys just joined, we looked at the weigh-in, gave our comments on that. We looked at, or we talked about rather, the final press conference. We went back in time and watched a little bit of Hagler-Hearns and how we think that it's going to be very comparable, or it could be comparable to that fight. And I guess now it's time for prediction. I see my man Gucci Mane in the building saying Crawford by knockout. Well, I would love to hear why you think that. Me and Platboy, we've been waiting for the past 2 hours, waiting for it. You're on mic. You're on mute.
My bad. We've been waiting on the Crawford guy to give us a breakdown. So come on now. Let us know why, how do we get there? How do we get to a Crawford knockout?
Yeah, knockdown boxing says there's someone's getting stopped for sure. I said earlier, I say 55% this fight will end in decision. 45% it'll be a knockout. So that's how I see it. If there is a knockout, I lean a little bit more towards Spence. If there's a decision, I lean a little bit more towards Crawford. But, I guess at this point, it's time for me to leave my prediction. And by the way, I'm planning to call this fight live tomorrow. So definitely bookmark my channel if you're new. Make a mental note that I'm going to call this fight tomorrow. And hopefully my prediction is accurate. But with this type of fight, I don't feel bad at all. if my prediction isn't correct, it's one of those fights that I have no problem getting a wrong prediction with. So given the fact, the way that I've always seen this fight, and I haven't really wavered too much on it, even though Bud has done things in his training camp that I've noticed that made me reevaluate a little bit, like, should I stick to my original prediction? But every time Bud and his training and watching his past fights kind of makes me second guess my prediction, I always tend to go back to my original prediction. And at the end of the day, the way I see it is Spence is the legitimate welterweight champion. He's been at the weight class. He's dominated this weight class. He's seen a lot of different styles and talents. And although Bud has as well, I just think when it comes to fighting guys with size, power, and the amount of skill sets, I think Spence has the advantage. When you look at Mikey Garcia, when you look at Danny Garcia, when you look at Porter, he fought Porter before Bud fought Porter. All these different little things and the fights that he's been in, and styles. I know we say this all the time. The styles make fights. And as good as Crawford is, I think this is a bad style matchup for Crawford. Because the moment Spence gets in the inside and gets Crawford against the ropes, and anybody thinking, don't worry about that, Divine, Bud won't get caught up on the ropes. Well, I don't think Hearns planned to get caught up on the ropes against Hagler either, but it happened. Also, we saw Porter have Crawford on the ropes. So at some point in this fight, mark my words, Bud will be on the ropes. And Spence is going to go to work. It's inevitable. It could be the first round. It could be the sixth round. Whatever round, don't matter. And God forbid it's even more consistent than just a couple rounds here and there. If Spence is consistently walking down Bud, it's going to be a long night for Bud. And Bud is going to have to pull the trick out of the hat like Hearns did and just go for broke because nothing's working. Nothing's working. I'm trying to jab. I'm trying to move. It's not working. So he's going to go for broke. Right? So I kind of sense it to be that way. Now, the way I see it, the first 2 to 3 rounds, believe it or not, I think it's going to be some fill-out rounds. I don't think it's going to be too crazy. I think Bud's going to come out and try to fight at range, really check his range to see, all right, where do I need to set my feet to land a punch against this guy? Really feel it out. Try to touch the body a little bit. Spence is going to do what he does, high guard, catch, shoot to the body. And I think it's going to be very methodical for about the first 3 rounds. Then I think there's going to be a turning point in the fight, maybe around 6, where I think Spence is going to catch Crawford I don't think he's going to hurt. I don't think he's going to drop him, but I think he's going to land something significant to turn the tide of the fight. And I just think from there, going into 7, 8, 9, 10, Spence is going to get momentum. Because Spence is kind of like the juggernaut, right? From the X-Men.
Yeah. Yeah.
He gets momentum, and then he becomes unstoppable. He gets into that rhythm. He gets confidence. And that's what happened against Ugas. Because Ugas wasn't doing bad in that fight. He had moments in that fight. But once Spence gets that train a chugging, chugga, 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 he puts people in deep waters. He puts the guys he fights in deep waters. The only way you beat Spence is your consistency from the outside has to be the best that Spence has ever seen. It's got to be the best that we've all ever seen to be able to beat him. And you can beat him at range. I do think that Spence is beatable. I don't think he's unbeatable. He is definitely beatable, but it's got to be consistent and damn near perfect range fighting. And with that range fighting, you're going to have to land big, hard shots almost every round to maintain that respect. Because the moment Spence doesn't respect you, it's a wrap. So, knockdown. Mr. Punch Out. All right, got you. Okay, because I was wondering who the hell is that? All right, cool. Got you. Make sure y'all subscribe to my man Knockdown Boxing Sports, formerly known as Mr. Punch Out. Guy puts out really good
let's
content.
support Knockdown. He put out good stuff.
Most definitely. So I just feel that it's going to be methodical. It's going to be entertaining in the middle rounds. But I just feel that Spence is going to start to kind of chip away, break down Bud, where then Bud is forced into fighting in the pocket. And in the pocket, I think, is where he's at a huge disadvantage. So I just don't, and I think size matters. I think that Spence is naturally bigger. I think he's used to fighting bigger fighters, stronger fighters. And I think he can take what Bud can dish out. I will say this, though. There will be a moment, and I think it's going to be around the moment where Spence starts to gain momentum and you start to see and feel the shift, maybe around 8, 9. And I think that Bud will get into that, I don't want to say desperation mode, but that mode of like, fuck it. And I think he's going to land something big that could possibly drop Spence. But by that point, it won't be enough to stop him. I think that Spence will recover from it. And then 10, 11 is where Spence will come out pissed off and go for the fucking knockout. And by that time, Bud will be spent. Because he put everything he had into getting that knockdown against Spence around 8, 9 after losing a lot of those middle rounds. And I think that he won't have much left. And Spence will, even though he was knocked down, recovered, get right back into it, motivated to get that round back. And I think that's when he'll get the late round stoppage. So I think this will be a 10th or 11th round stoppage by Spence. And I know I'm going big. I'm going for the home run here, predicting the stoppage. But I just feel like with all the things that I just pointed out, not only will Spence implement that game plan that I just predicted, but I also think it'll be a situation with that exhaustion of that wear and tear in those middle rounds, where I think that where Spence is going to gain that momentum, it's going to make him tired. And when he gets tired, he drops his hands even more. He already drops his hand and has been caught many times in fights with his hands down when he isn't extremely hurt. But in this instance, against someone like Spence, I think his hands are going to be dropped in those late rounds, and Spence is going to catch him. And it could be, I don't think it's going to be a one-punch knockout, but I think it very well possibly could be a knockdown, and he just can't recover, and the referee stops it. And that's my official prediction, y'all. So I see King of Kings trying to jump in here. Oh man, you're always trying to jump in the last minute.
My God.
Always trying to jump in the last minute.
I haven't seen him in forever.
Yes, hey, what's going on, y'all, man? I know, man. I had to jump, but this is a signature moment. I had to come touch the Divine Sense show real quick, That's
yes, sir.
What's up.
Yes, sir. So that's my prediction, man. I got a late round stoppage. I don't think anybody could break it down any more precise than what I just did. Because I'm a firm believer in that. Don't just come in and talk about, oh, I got Bud by knockout. Well, how though? Well, I don't know. He's just gonna knock out. He's just gonna knock him out. Nah, man, I'm gonna break it down. I paint a picture for you guys. And I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm going to call this fight. And you guys know how I do it, man. I score it, I commentate on it, and I'm always unbiased.
Yeah, and I'm with Picasso. I'm with Picasso. He painted a pretty picture, and I'm 10th round stoppage. So we kind of in line on it.
Yeah. Okay, I sold Playboy. Now let me see.
You sold me, man. You Picasso that thing real nice.
Real nice. Now I'm gonna see if I convince King of Kings or if he's got his own opinion. Let him know.
Nah, I could give it to you perfect. That's exactly how I see it. I was just thinking about it a little earlier. I was trying to pick around 10 or 11. I just think the work rate is significant for Spence, and that's going to have an impact. And I think he really, really wants this. Those intangibles matter, and I seen it coming up to this fight. He wants this bad, so it's going, like you said, it's going to be exactly how you described. The first rounds are going to be filling out. It's going to seem kind of dry, and then somebody's going to press the issue. Something's going to happen, and that's just going to make Spence erupt. And like you said, as the fight goes on, it's going to be, he gets stronger and stronger. It's a bad combination for a situation like this. Two guys with a lot of pride. Yeah, I got a 10th round stoppage, Spence, like you.
Hey, King, just real quick, what did you think about the press conference? Like, what did you get out of that?
Oh, you mean the one yesterday with Bomac and all that stuff?
Yeah.
I think these, as far as the fighters, I think they're tired of the shit and they're ready to fight. And yeah. I think to them, if they could have skipped that and said, damn, this last press conference, and gone straight to the fight, they would have. So, and everybody's
neither one of these men are scared.
No.
Let's get that out of the way. Neither one of these men. These men have been doing this shit their whole life. And they've been sizing each other up for years now. They've studied each other. They probably feel like they know each other better than any other fighter, you know? It's kind of like Pacquiao Mayweather. They probably spent, hours looking at film and preparing it, mentally for it. And these guys are not as scared of each other. They've known each other for a very long time, up on the come up. They're very aware of each other's careers. They made that clear so many times. And just a matter of, once you step into the square circle, it's always a little bit different than what you see. And
yeah.
And so,
the real thing, just to add on to that real quick, is like you said, they know each other. The respect is there. This is real. This, like, the fan bases be on some bullshit. He turned away first. Well, watch a Spence press conference. He does that every time. So it's just stupid. Or you know what? If that's significant, motherfuckers need to start keeping a stat and be like, yeah, every guy that's turned away. Don't tell me like that shit means anything. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's just cornball shit. But yeah, I think Spence he's mean. He looks pissed. That in a bad way, but he's like a dog that you kept in a cage, and he knows he wants to fight. He sees the other dog he wants to fight, and he just in the cage, and it's like, fuck, let me out the cage. And that's literally what I see right there, man. So this is going to be like you said, but the funny part is literally it is 50-50. So when I'm picking Spence, it's literally like 50.5. And, you know what I mean? So it's not like I would be shocked if something else happens. So let's keep
49.95. Huh?
You know what I'm saying?
And they both look in
0.05.
phenomenal shape, man. Like if
Yeah.
you look, they look like they know that this is the moment, and they are showing it. Like it is, the build up has been great. It doesn't even need like a build up. Like this fight is sold. It's been sold. But they have
Yeah.
like, they look good. You know, they both were committed just by the way they look at the weigh in. And I think we in for a treat. And like, this is something I don't talk to my grandkids about.
Yep. Yep. Just like our parents talk to us about, the Hagler-Hearns stuff.
Right.
We're going to do that now with our kids and relive the moment. And who knows, this might be a fight that they might fight 3 times.
Right.
You never know. You know what I
That'd be
mean? And
crazy.
it's not the first time we've seen that with the era of Leonard and Duran and all those guys. They round robin several times in their career. So, you can go back to a lot of those fights. I mean, Ray Leonard had a lot of 12 rounders or 15 rounders or whatever it was back then against a lot of these great fighters because they're just so competitive, and that very may well be the situation. It may go all 12, and it may be a close scorecard. That's very possible. It might be separated by one knockdown, like a guy got a knockdown and that was the separator. I just don't know. It's just one of those fights. But I think if you're Spence or Crawford for that matter, when you have a fight of this magnitude, when there's so much shit that's been said over the past couple of years, and don't get it twisted, both Spence and Bud, they pay attention to YouTube more than you think they do.
Oh yeah.
Spence they know
they
know what's been said out there. So in a way, they would both just love a knockout, just to silence everybody. Don't leave any room for speculation. But the cool thing about both of these guys is that if they hurt one another, they're going for the kill. They're both killers. They don't fuck around and try to go into a mindset like, well, I'm just going to go out there and box for 12. Nah, just the slightest sign of, I hurt the other guy, they're gonna step down on the gas and try to finish it. That is for sure, which is one of the main reasons why I make this such an intriguing fight. Yeah, knockdown. We spoke about that earlier in the live stream with Caleb Plant smacking Jamal. One of those shocking things about that moment is how he got slapped and just walked away from it. I was like, damn, you gonna let a dude just slap you like that?
You're a known fighter, and
everybody's holding Caleb back when they should be holding him back after being slapped, right? That was an awkward situation.
Hey, from what I heard though, that actually was a continuation from an earlier incident where fucking Jamal had fucking muffed Caleb Plant.
Yeah, he said, "Don't you ever put your hand in my face again, boy."
Yeah, that's what happened. Though I guess there was some kind of fight, like I said, allegedly there was some kind of incident earlier between these ladies or whatever, and Caleb Plant went to break it up, and then Maul went over and basically muffed him. And we all know a slap is disrespectful. A muff is just as bad though. So I mean, so that was a continuation. So everybody's like, oh, he went back later, but it's like really maybe possibly that might have been Plant coming back later. I don't know, man. Maul looked weird.
It was a retaliation.
Yeah, it was a retaliation. So
Jamal did look like totally out of character from what, like the way he talked and addressed people, and the issue he had with when they had the fight with the guy. Well, not the fight, but they had the altercation with the 154 guy. I can't remember his name. He fought I can't remember nobody's name right now. It's crazy. But if you watch Drew's channel and the monkey video he played, the altercation he had there in that fight.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like he like, come on, Hurd, yeah, against Hurd, and like he just looks totally out of character, and that's what I'm thinking. Like, I believe him when he said he had like some mental health issues, because he's totally not Jamal. Like the Jamal that we know would have, like, the outcome would have been different.
Yeah, he's in a different place right now. You can tell that he's in a completely different headspace. Because I watched something like that, I'm like, damn, a grown ass man just came up to me and smacked me like that.
Yeah, it's not over until I touch something at that point.
Bro,
like, come on, man.
Bro, I never be disrespected like that in my life.
Yeah,
like someone's getting hit.
Yeah,
somebody's gonna be in the way. Like,
Your
you know what I mean?
friend, your
Like,
bodyguard, somebody getting touched at that point.
somebody get it. Like, and it's just weird. It's just a weird situation, and you know, it's gonna be swirling around the internet. It's already starting, and it's gonna get worse for Maul now, and how he responds to it, and how this, I don't know, maybe it'll build into something later on, into a fight, hopefully. But yeah, that was an odd situation. But we were mentioning it earlier, how people just need to leave Caleb alone, man. Just leave that man alone. All right, this guy's just like, either he's insulting someone verbally or he's smacking them. Like, like,
Dude, not to be played with.
just leave him alone, right? It's, you know, but that's, I remember when he was about to fight Darrell, right? And Darrell was saying how a lot of people don't like Caleb, and you know, he's disrespectful and this and that. And you know, I can kind of see where people are coming from, because it's not just Darrell. A lot of people share that, but maybe it's because people just don't respect him, you know? So he's got a chip on his shoulder all the time.
All the time.
You know, all the time he feels like he's got to defend himself, and he's got to be aggressive and whatever. But it's kind of like, I don't think he's like that in real life, though. Like on some real shit. I think when he's in private, like with his wife and his family, I think he's like a pretty cool, calm guy. But I think in public, though, he's just like, he's got that different persona.
Hey, let's keep it a buck. Every time somebody approaches him, they're like, "Let's pick on the white boy," and he has to stand up for it, because he's in a world where, you know, it's like that. And it's not like but you know, we all had like, all this pick on the white dude. So he's like, yo, he got to tell him that he's about the shit. But at home, he don't have to do all that. He don't have to defend himself like that. Like you say, he seems like a real chill dude. Like, he's outside playing with the kids and drinking teacup with his daughter and shit like that. He's that dude. But in the public, there's always somebody trying to run up on him, and so he has to keep alert all the goddamn time.
And I think he's used to it. I think he's grown up that way, you know. So he's kind of he understands that if he's got to be tough, because if not, you know, he'll just get buried in the dirt. You know, people will just fucking bury him. So he's just kind of like has that mentality of like, all right, it's always showtime, no matter what. Because if you know, you never know. You know, like at some point in his life when he was younger, maybe he bitched out on a fight or something, and then he was clowned for it for years. You know, that you never know. That could have led him into boxing and lit a fire under him. And ever since that moment, he's like, fuck it. You know, anybody who steps to me, I'm ready. You know, and a lot of times that's what happens in life. So that's what I see with that. What's going to come from it, I have no idea. But right now, my mind is switched on to Spence Crawford. And ladies and gentlemen, after all the years of debate and chaos, a lot of respect and disrespect all over the fucking internet, it comes down to this now.
We are here.
All the talking's done now, right? The two men, the two gladiators are going to shield up, sword up, and go face to face, right? So my only thing is, and I see Rick. What's up, Rick? What's up, William? A1 also in the building. Shout out to my man A1. Make sure y'all subscribe to A1. Out there dropping some nice basketball content. So what I always say to people in these big fights, and I always remind people a couple of things. Number one, people are about to show their true colors. They're about to show their true colors. And I'm talking about people that are just making, you know, channels just to come and support other content creators and even content creators themselves. They will show their true colors. If their fighter loses, are they going to come out and take it like a man or a woman and say, I was wrong? Right?
In that case, we just got to pray for no bullshit in the fight.
No bullshit.
No
right?
controversy. Straight up fight.
Let's speak in good conscience. Let's put positive energy out there in the atmosphere. A good, clean, hard fight, done and dusted, and there's a clear winner. If your man loses, if you're a content creator, are you going to come out here and eat crow? like a man or a woman, and admit that, you know what, shit, the other guy was just better? Or are you going to come up here bitching, moaning, complaining, making excuses, all this other bullshit that people do out here? That's what I always wait to see. That is almost like that's the dessert to the main course to me. The main course is the fight, and then I get to sit back with my, slice of, pumpkin pie, little whipped cream on top, and I enjoy my dessert watching all of these fucking people who I know have been talking shit for years. And then when it's time to face the music, either they disappear or they come out on some bullshit. So that's what I'm about to wait and see. Because I have no problem. I predicted if you came in late stoppage for Spence. It's going to be a great fight for as long as it lasts. It's going to live up to the hype. It's going to be worth every fucking penny you put into this fight. That I promise you. But Spence, in my mind, is going to be victorious. But if for whatever reason Crawford wins the fight, I have zero problem coming out here and say, hey, Bud's that guy. Bud is that guy.
I'll say the same thing.
And also I'm going to say, shout out to Bud, because this guy, despite what everybody said about him,
hold on, Divine.
he is now two-time undisputed champion in 2 different weight classes.
My bad, Divine. Gucci Man saying Spence didn't even stop Mikey Garcia, and I'm trying to figure out like how that matters.
Well, who has stopped Mikey Garcia? Has Mikey Garcia ever been stopped?
At all? No.
No, he has not. So
I'm just trying to get the logic. Like, he didn't do this to this guy, and he did this to this guy, when the whole thing with boxing is that styles make fights, right?
And let's keep it real. Mikey went into survival at the end of the fight. Fucking Terence Crawford's not doing that shit. He not going to be at the end of rounds raising his hand, just happy that he made it. Bro, that's not happening. So when you have 2 different styles, right, like dudes, Brady gets fucking, he'd rather get smashed than fucking glide to a loss. So it's not a good comparison. You got to do better. But just to piggyback on something you said, Spence, about people eating crow afterwards or disappearing, everything that you can think of, all the reasons that y'all going to come up with for both camps of why this dude lost, or this must have been happened, or he lost this, all those reasons exist before the fight, and you still picked a certain side. So just fucking roll with it. Don't bring none of that shit up after the fight.
Right.
You know everything about both of these guys, and we've all made a decision based on that information. So that shit is irrelevant after the fight. Don't bring this shit up talking about, oh, this. I don't want to hear that shit. You picked, knowing that beforehand. Just deal with it.
Yep. 100%. Now, I don't really encounter the Bud supporters as much as maybe someone like Knockout or some of these other guys out here. But I've seen them. I've heard them. And I was just telling Plat Boys, like, it's hard for me to get a clear and concise answer on why they think Bud is better than Spence. I mean, you to no disrespect to Gucci Mane, but to bring up Mikey Garcia, that's just not a great talking point. It's not a great argument to make to support your man.
He's saying, right? Garcia went up. He only went up 1. He went from 140 to 147, but, beside the point.
Yeah, it's kind of like a pet peeve sometimes when people bring up that stuff. I want to talk styles. Tell me why Bud is going to win based off of style. I don't really care so much about resume. I think people spend too much time and energy on resumes. Because you can make the argument for Porter, right? People say, "Oh, Bud, he stopped Porter though. He stopped him, or his dad stopped it, or whatever." And he actually legitimately hurt Porter, and Spence couldn't hurt Porter. But then I can flip that easily and say, well, Spence fought Porter first.
And dropped him too.
And you can argue a fresher Porter. right? So this is
Same thing with
why
Kell Brook. Like
exactly. So this is why the resume argument to me never really carries that much weight unless their careers are over. When their careers are over and we're debating the best of our era, the best of our generation or all time, then you can like, all right, let's look at the resumes. Let's see who they fought. But right now, both of these men are active. Careers are still ongoing. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Who they fought. They're both undefeated. They both knock out people. And we're about to fight for undisputed. Period. The best man will win. And it will be based off of, like I said, like the styles, the consistency, the game plan, how well you work under pressure. All these little things when it comes to this level is what wins these fights. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm stronger. I punch harder. I got more of a chin. Like, no. At this level, they got all of that. They both got power. They both got speed. They both have IQ. They both have experience. They both have all of that. So what it comes down to is consistency of their game plan and who can work and handle the pressure of the moment, of the crowd, of the adrenaline, of all those different things. To me, before they enter the arena and enter the ring, it looks like Crawford has a little bit more nervous energy. And Spence looks more of like the calm one. But I'm not really surprised at that because Spence, I think that's just who he is. Rather he's fighting in front of 5 people or 50,000 people, I think Spence will always look like he's the more calm one. But, Crawford, like I said earlier in this live stream, if you joined late, Crawford to me is look like he's trying to hype himself up. His team is trying to hype him up. And, I don't think that's necessary. But, hey, maybe it makes him fight a little bit harder, which then makes the fight more interesting. So I don't put too much weight in it, but it is something that I took notice to. At the end of the day, guys, like I said, we've all said our piece one way or the other for the past year, 2 years on who was ducking who's better, why Spence would win, why Crawford would win. Spence is a bitch, Crawford's a bitch. Everyone, everyone said the little piece. So tomorrow night,
let's just be thankful that like this is happening in our generation, man. This is one of those fights for us. You know what I mean? So, like, regardless of who wins, like we're in for like a once in a lifetime event. So, like it's a treat. You know what I mean? So, like, enjoy it regardless, whoever you're pulling for.
It's definitely a treat. So, my way of letting you guys know how to get the most out of this fight, if you are gonna watch, if you've already bought it and you plan to watch it, and you want some alternative commentary, make sure you tune into Divine Sense. That's what a lot of people do. Is they'll buy it, they'll watch it, but they'll listen to Divine Sense for the commentary. If you're not able to watch it or you couldn't buy it for whatever reason, then obviously I'll be calling the fight to keep you guys up to date, punch for punch, round for round, how I score it, how I see it. I'm always unbiased, so you don't have to worry about that. And then, of course, I'm sure the after party is going to be lit. So if you're planning to watch the fight with the family and turn on the surround sound and go on YouTube later, I'll be here talking about the post-fight thoughts. And, depending how this fight goes, maybe a rematch is going to feel necessary. Maybe it's not. If one of these guys go out there and knock the other out in the first 3 rounds, I think it's pretty clear who the fucking better fighter is. It doesn't warrant a rematch. So the conversation might just be a celebration post-fight. Or it could be another debate. If it's a close fight or if it's a draw, we might have a debate on who we thought won and why the rematch is necessary. So a lot of things to look forward to. Make sure you guys bookmark the channel. I don't know if I'll cover the undercard. I'll try to cover the because Tank is the co-main event, or no?
Pitbull,
Who's co-main event? Oh,
Pitbull.
Pitbull.
Pro
Sorry,
Cruz.
yeah, Pitbull. I'm yeah. I'm gonna try to cover at least that one, but I will for sure at least make the main event. So, like I said, if you want alternative commentary, because I don't know about you, but for me, commentary during live fights usually frustrate the shit out of me. So even if I'm watching at home, a lot of times I'll have music playing in the background and watch that shit on mute.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know, I
Devin
know,
Haney, the Devin Haney last fight, terrible.
yeah, it's just it's so distracting. It's so distracting.
Hey, that just watch that Pitbull fight closely because that Cabrera guy is really nice.
Cabrera
Yeah.
is a
He's
live dog
nice.
in that fight. People,
Yeah.
people, if you don't know who that is, you slipping on somebody because he might be the one that dispatches a pit bull. That motherfucker can fight, and
He
he
got
got
some
some.
heat.
I seen him today. That motherfucker is big and he's fucking ready. So
He's
that's
real
gonna be
big,
a good fight.
especially in this fight. Like he's nice. He got some heat behind every punch. He's a dog. That might be, not trying to downplay Spence Crawford, but that might be fight of the night. Besides the fact
Oh,
that we're watching it for
it's a
hey,
great
whew,
it's a great co-main event. Like
yeah.
they've done really well putting this event together. So I'm excited about it. Like I said, if you paid for this, you're going to get your money's worth with the undercard and the co-main event. And I mean, you're
No ifs.
definitely
Pay for this shit, man. Don't be watching no punk ass streams.
Yeah,
Pay
buy the
for
fight,
this
man.
shit.
Buy the fight, man.
Pay
We
for
got
it.
we
Yeah.
got to support
Y'all
this shit
complain
so they
about
can keep
shit.
happening.
Yeah, it's $85 for I guess the SD. This shit nothing, man. $85, bro. You put it on
Yeah.
your cable bill, you could pay it in a few months. Shit. Buy
That's
this
true.
shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's true.
Hey, man, keep your eye on Cabrera. I'm telling you. This dude right
Yeah,
here
for sure,
might
for sure.
shock us. He might shock us tomorrow. I love Pitbull, man, but this guy right here, like I'm always down the middle. You know what I mean? This Cabrera guy
In
might
the
be
moment,
something serious coming up.
before I forget, I gotta give my thoughts too whenever I have a chance. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow when I go live, as we're waiting for the main event in between intermission or whatever. But I want to talk a little bit about the Inu and Fulton fight. That shit caught me off guard, bro.
All the way off guard.
And people were talking so much shit. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's gonna be an easy fight for Fulton."
Yeah.
And I think now it's time to put some respect on Inu's name now at this point. So
Divine, all right, okay, I'm with you on that because I see what they talking about now, the monster shit and the monster in a way and all that, but
yeah,
they putting him number one pound for pound right now.
I haven't heard that yet.
We agree, like because it's Crawford, in a way, Spence. Like, if Crawford and Spence win this fight, is that definitive number one?
Oh, if Crawford wins Saturday night, he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world. Period.
What about Spence?
No fucking debate. Where is Spence on the pound for pound list if he loses?
3. Yeah. Well, if Spence wins, does that make
if
him
he wins
number one definitive?
Oh man. If
Because
not one,
they got in a way like he was already 2. He's 2 now on the like ESPN and Ring Magazine, but
that'll be interesting to see because our buds. Well, obviously his WBO was up, but none of his other weight classes are on the line, right? So if Spence wins, he just becomes undisputed welterweight champion.
Right.
But if Crawford wins, then he's undisputed in 2 weight classes.
Right. First time ever for a man.
Yes. And that means, that's a no-brainer. If he beats Spence Saturday night, he's the best fighter in the world, period. No, nobody can debate that.
So Spence could slide to 2. Well, Spence could be 1,
but
or maybe
he
2.
He could be 1, but for sure 2. For sure. If he beats Crawford, because technically speaking, on some people's list, Crawford is still number 1 pound for pound.
Right.
So technically speaking, you beat the pound for pound best fighter. So he has an argument.
Right.
But the pound for pound is always a slippery slope because some people got Canelo number 1.
Yeah. Yeah. That.
Look, hey, this is why I
hate
say
that
about
list, man.
pound for pound, fam. This is the only thing, because like I said, the way it's become is just like now it's like a media gimmick. It's just all over the place. They put heavyweights on there. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I still look at pound per pound like a more of a traditional way. I basically look at pound per pound like if everybody was the same size, who do I think would be who? And so if Spence goes out here and beats Crawford, and I'm thinking in the sense, if any way him were the same size, who would I pick? I would pick Spence. So I have to put him number 1 for that reason. But other people feel like now I see the pound per pound is like, oh, you moved up different weights. I'm biased on that shit with that because anyway, Lips fights in the sandwich divisions. You eat a sandwich, you win another fucking weight division. So to me, I kind of like don't give that as much credence when you're down there. You could literally go 3 pounds and be undisputed against people nobody can name. Outside Noni, Daenerys, and Fulton, name an anyway fight, a guy anyways fought. And it's not a resume thing, but the truth of the matter is down there you can get like that. If you could fight, if Terence Crawford could fight at 140, 143, 147, would he not have been undisputed 3 times in 3 different weight divisions? I mean, so it's kind of like you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, because as they get higher, the weight increases. So
see, there's the Usyk number 1.
Right. What the? All right, man. We see.
See,
they got Usyk number 1 on the pound for pound list.
That's the shit I just mentioned.
But that's exactly what King of Kings just said. Like, I agree.
Oh my god,
heavyweights don't belong on the pound for pound list. Heavyweights are their own kingdom within itself. To be a heavyweight, you already have that natural prestige. Right. It's a prestigious weight class within itself, and they have no business being on the pound for pound. Exactly. So it's silly to have a heavyweight on the pound for pound list. That would be like having Rocky Marciano above Sugar Ray Robinson.
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Come on. It's just silly. So, but
because technically, the funny part is technically there's no weight cap. So guess what? Anyone that's on this list, if anyway wants to go fight Usyk, it can happen. That we know that'll never happen because there's no weight restriction. Like heavyweight, you like we've seen it with Wilder. There's motherfuckers coming out and weighing you up by 60, 70 fucking pounds. So it's just a unique division that this, like I said, it's an insult to even put you, like low key is an insult to put you on here as a heavyweight. You shouldn't be on this line. These guys aren't in the realm of the world you have to deal with. So fuck that.
Exactly.
You shouldn't even want to be on there. You should contact these websites and be like, let's give, I mean, I don't mean to put it this way, but basically, let's give these smaller guys the recognition they deserve. So that's how it should be. Like I said, anytime you hear, I mean, being a heavyweight, you're already mentioned amongst the names of Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, and all those great heavyweights.
Lennox Lewis, Vander.
By nature, right? Even if you're not a big boxing fan, my grandma knows fucking heavyweights. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like you have that natural prestige. I mean, you can go to any barbershop around the world and mention, a heavyweight that you can what's his name? God damn it, Jack Johnson. Like, guy who fought damn near a century ago.
Yeah,
and people 20s. Know who he is. You know what I'm saying? So, or even think about what's his name? Dempsey, right? Is it Dempsey?
Jack Dempsey.
Jack Dempsey. Man, my fucking brain, I gotta go eat something. But so Jack Dempsey, right? Like that's what King of Kings was just saying, how he was a small heavyweight, super small. The guy was like 190 or 200 pounds or some shit. And he was like fighting guys that were 240, 250.
Marciano too, right? Marciano was small too.
Yeah, very, very small heavyweight. So, It's like you can be 1 pound over 200 and you're a fucking heavyweight. So it's like, it's crazy how that happens. But, you know, if you're going to be mentioned amongst the heavyweights, then it shouldn't really matter. Like, you can be a small heavyweight, but nonetheless, you're a heavyweight. So that's the thing that I think
Oh, we froze up.
Yeah, I think there he goes. He's coming
is
back.
with
All right, he back.
okay, yeah.
There you go.
Is I think with Usyk, because he was a cruiserweight undisputed, he gets that kind of recognition because he came from cruiserweight. He's a small heavyweight. But we've seen this many times throughout history: cruiserweights and heavyweights going up and down, fighting in both divisions. So, anyways, that's my opinion there. But I just wanted to put this up on the screen so you guys can see. So technically, you know, Crawford right now is at 3, no brainer. If he beats Spence, if you don't have him at number 1, you're a fucking hater.
Where is Charlo?
He's not even on the list.
Those last two are ridiculous.
They got Tiafimo and Lomachenko over Charlo.
Above Charlo, yeah.
Man, you got to be, yeah, okay.
The ring,
this
the ring,
this
trip,
this
the,
this
the ring
pound
is
for
tripping.
pound has nothing to do with boxing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
the ring
it's
is tripping.
crazy.
They always be tripping. I just bring up the ring because
Check,
it's like
ESPN,
graphic wise, it's easier to see.
Yeah, ESPN be on bullshit too.
So let's look at is this pound for pound? Yeah, it is. See what I mean? Canelo at number 1.
Yeah, that
Good naughty glove kid.
They
Come
got
on.
Triple G on the pound for
Fuck
pound
outta here.
list.
This shit's crazy.
If we think in the traditional mindset, Bivol shouldn't. I mean, I know he has a good win over Canelo, but you're not undisputed in your weight, and you've been at 175 career.
Right.
It's a joke.
Wow.
So better
And this
be
is
as
box,
like
and
with
this
19
is box rec.
knockouts and 19 fights. Like, come on, man.
This is
He's
box
not
rec
even
too.
on
You
there.
would think that they would have a little bit more respect.
Yeah, they got Estrada up there over tons of fighters.
Let's see what ESPN has. Damn, Canelo
Shakur
number 1
at 7. Okay.
I can't believe Canelo's still considered pound for pound.
And Spence wasn't on that list you just looked at.
That's
was he?
what blows my mind.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw a couple of names and I had to get up off that list quick before I do this shit.
It was checkout time immediately.
All right, so okay, let's see here. Divisional rankings. Okay, all right. So, all right, this is by division. Go for pound. Yeah, so they got Terence at 1, NU at 2, Usyk at 3, Spence at 4, Canelo at 5, Bivol, Fury, Beterbiev, Haney at 9.
How is Shakir on the list?
Well, why is Haney below like Tyson Fury and Bivol?
Exactly.
And Shakur, he's undisputed
And
in that
Usyk.
weight class.
Once
This shit's
again,
crazy
Tyson
right here.
Fury shouldn't even be on that shit. That's why I'm talking about
Yeah.
sticking heavyweights on there. What a joke. Get the fuck out of here.
No
So
Tank, no Javante Davis, nothing. Like,
So that's what we're dealing with, people. But anyways, as we were saying, all we can do is pay for these fights, support the fighters, give our commentary, and enjoy this moment. ESPN, BoxRec, Ring, and all these other websites, they're going to do what they do. I mean, I don't know, honestly, what the thought process behind it is, on why they add these names to the list, and especially heavyweights. But there's people here on YouTube, too, as well, that have channels that put heavyweights in their pound for pound. And I've had loads of debates with people about it.
Andre
big
Ward voted Crawford and Spence 1 and 2. He's the only one.
No Charlo on any of those, which is a travesty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, maybe if he goes up and beat Canelo, maybe he'll get number 10 and a half. Fucking stupid shit.
Yep.
That's what we deal with in this sport, man. They don't love us back.
Well, gentlemen, and everybody in the chat, I'm going to Saturday afternoon. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my day for me out here. But to close it off with 120 votes, Spence by stoppage wins the poll at 42%. So we're looking for a stoppage, I guess. We'll see if the people, the 42%, are correct. We did have a few Bud supporters come in, just a few. So we'll see. Like I said, bookmark the channel. I will be here commentating the fight live. If you want some alternative commentary, or maybe just tune in. Maybe you can't watch the fight at all. Maybe you're at work. Maybe you're on the go. You're not able to watch the fight. I'll be giving you guys the punch for punch and round breakdown, round for round breakdown. So make sure y'all tune in. I know, Platt Boy, I know you've been wanting to get on for a minute. And again, thank you. Thanks for checking in on me too, just to see if I'm still alive.
Yeah, you got me. Yeah. Like I wasn't watching many boxing channels before I found you. I was watching Blue Bud here and there, but then I found you, and like after I found you, I started watching a bunch of other ones. So that's all credit to you, man.
Hey, man, much love and respect. And maybe one day I'll get back into the groove. A fight like this is definitely helps. I mean, I kind of came back into YouTube off of the Wilder Fury, saga. So sometimes I just need something to fuel me up and keep me motivated to come on here. But regardless, this is a big fight. I got to make my mark on it. And I'm happy to put in my time and energy to commentate and see how this fight unfolds. And the aftermath is going to be epic. Like I said, that's the pumpkin pie with the whipped cream on top is after. See what everyone has to say. What's up, Detroit? I see you, bro. William, I see you as well. All right, guys. So approximately, I don't know what what's the fight time? The main event is probably like 10 o'clock Eastern, something like that.
Yeah, it'll be close around that. Yeah.
Yeah. So around that time, guys, you guys will catch me on here live, bookmark it, and let's get ready for an epic fight. Gentlemen, I appreciate you guys stopping in, and you guys are more than welcome to jump in after the fight, after, the aftermath, and I'll probably do a post-fight thoughts. So if you guys are around and want to jump in, you guys are more than welcome.
All right,
yeah. It says 11:30 Eastern. Main fight.
God damn, that's late.
11:30.
Yeah, main event 11:30 Eastern is what it's saying.
Shit.
And that's Showtime. That's Showtime's website saying
that. Okay, so basically midnight, because that shit's never on time.
Yeah. unless all three fights are knockouts early.
Yeah, at least it's Saturday. At least hope y'all don't gotta work on Sunday, because that's rough.
Nah, I got a fight party. We throwing a projector up in the backyard, and so we're gonna have it like stadium style in the backyard with the big projector.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's going down.
You got some steak sizzling?
Well, I'm not sure what we cooking, but my brother is the cook, the one in the chat. He's the cook, so we're gonna see what he pull out the hat.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a bit jealous, man. I might just get me some takeaway Chinese or some shit.
Yeah.
Well,
it all count.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Look, man, it was good to be back. For those who came in and voted in the poll and clicked the like button, I appreciate you. I know some of you guys are probably shocked when you got the notification that I was live, but yeah, this is me in the flesh. It's not my ghost. I'm still alive, and we'll be back on here tomorrow night. Looking forward to it, guys, man. Super exciting times. You should be excited. Tell your brother, tell your auntie, tell your uncles, tell your cousins, tell everybody. Tune in, watch the fight. This is some historical shit right here. Even if you're not a big boxing fan, say, get your ass off the bed, get your ass off the couch, watch this fight.
Crawfish
this is
ball.
this is the World Cup. This is the World Cup of boxing right here, right?
Yes,
Everybody
absolutely.
tunes in to watch the World Cup, even though they don't even watch fucking soccer, but they still watch it because it's the World Cup. Same shit, right? Tune in anyway, and it's going to be an epic moment. All right, guys, y'all stay up, stay strong, stay positive. It's your boy Divine. I'm out.
Salute.